Yeah. Yeah. Come and never sleep on me. Eyes on my chain 숙여 너의 고개를 what you looking at fool 너의 눈 허리 멍청했고 find your comfort from another yeah. I go low like undercover yeah. Wanna know my name 죽지 않은 일은 위에 부어버려 기름 guess you can even guess me cause I'm baby high low로 확실해 not like maybe Devil let me welcome to my palace 찾지 않아 Alice you just keep on wonder You just keep on wonder 찾지 않아 Alice 버려 너의 memory I just pop a bin Danny have been 나는 걸어 Boeing 747 날개 위
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jonathan Lyon. I'm back with your boy Colton Flatt and Caleb Mabry. How you guys doing?
Morning, John.
Morning.
Good morning.
I see you're an early riser as well.
Got to keep the British end up.
So I want to start off with this right here. I'm going to take a page out of a few other Bond podcasts. What's the most Bond things you boys have done since we last talked?
Caleb, you go first.
Okay, I haven't done anything recently, but I'll tell you what I used to do all the time. Whenever I would get home from work, I don't wear a ball cap as much now because I can't contain my hair in it. But I used to, when I would walk in the front door, I would take my hat off and I would throw it onto the hat coat hook thing. I made it maybe once, twice out of 100 times, but that's the only thing that I can think of that is like James Bond like. So,
Flatt, what about you?
I just want to say that's pretty badass, Caleb.
Yeah, it is, Caleb.
I appreciate that. The closest thing I've done, I guess, is grind up my Tylenol and sprinkle it on my scrambled eggs.
You know what? I will never ask this question again.
hey, I had a good answer.
Yeah, you did.
All right, well, you go. What's yours?
Yeah, you had a good one until Colton brought drug addiction in here, and of all things, Tylenol. But
Scrambled eggs, man. It's not Tylenol 3. It's over-the-counter medicine.
Barely held together.
Well, I will say this. Last night, I took my wife and my stepdaughter and her little boyfriend out and met two of my friends, like him and his wife. We went to eat, and I got a vodka martini, and I will say this, I did not specify it to be dirty, but that was the dirtiest damn martini I've ever had in my life. Oh
what
my God. It literally was, I swear, it was more olive brine than it was vodka.
What makes it dirty?
When they put olive brine in it.
Olive brine.
Yes.
Okay.
So I love brine. Like, I'm not even going to but I don't like green olive brine. I'd be liking the brine with the black olives.
Okay.
Is the brine the juice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, guys, so today we're on a personal favorite of mine, 1977's The Spy Who Loved Me. I must say that I love this movie. I want to talk a little bit about my own personal connection to it. Whenever I was a kid, did not have this one. So it was not one that was on repeat at my house a lot. But I did watch it whenever they would have those 007 days of Christmas and the Thanksgiving marathons of Bond. I would watch it a lot. I always liked this one quite a bit. Obviously, being a little boy, I loved the whole submarine car. I thought that was one of the coolest things in the world. I never thought it was, goofy or too silly. I just accepted it that it could happen.
You know why I like it?
Why?
Because it shows the car transforming. Bond doesn't pull the car into a hangar and then pull out with airplane wings.
Yeah.
You're right. It does it the right way.
I'm kidding. No, I just that car just looks like a submarine.
Yeah.
Like it really fits.
I think
you can just think about the influence. I mean, if you play GTA 5 online, they have that car online. It's called the Stromberg, which I wonder where they got that name from, you know?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I played a little bit of GTA Online, but it wasn't for me.
Oh, okay. I understand. But I want to ask you this before we really get started. Which of you have read the book from Ian Fleming, The Spy Who Loved Me?
I have not.
I'm almost certain. Usually I'm like, oh, did I read that one? I'm pretty sure I did not read this one.
Okay, so The Spy Who Loved Me book is it's one of Fleming's shortest books, and it's written from the perspective of a woman. So
Really?
it's yes.
Huh.
So pretty much it's about a woman who James Bond meets. Half of the book does not even have Bond in it. Bond shows up at the tail end of the book. Most of the book is about this woman, Vivian Michelle, about her life. Bond is just he just shows up at the end. Um, Fleming hated the book so much that whenever he sold the rights to his movies, rights to make movies out of his books,
Yeah.
that was a special like clause in the contract that Eon Productions could not use the book to make a movie out of. They could just use
Wow.
the name.
Wow.
Here's a
Now,
minor caveat:
go ahead.
don't use that shit.
Now, I will say this. And I'm not going to go over the whole book of The Spy Who Loved Me. One, it's redundant right now because it literally has nothing to do with this movie. But I will say this: there is one thing that they took from the book, and it made its way into the movie. The character of Jaws. Okay, in the book, there was a guy. There was two gangsters in the book. There was Slugsy and Horror were their names. Now in this movie, we have Jaws and we have a little short dude. You know that short, stocky guy.
Yep.
The guy that Bond, moved his tie from, and he fell off the building. That guy's name, I think, is Shandor in the movie. That is like the movie's version of Slugsy and Horror from the book. And
No.
even in the book, Horror has steel teeth. So
Was that not the same actor from Russia with Love?
it was most definitely the same actor from Russia with Love. There's actually another person from that movie that's in this. Actually, he's not from Russia with Love, Colton. It's Dr. No, is it not?
Maybe, yeah. One of the
He's
Dr.
one of
No,
Dr.
probably.
No's guards, right?
Yeah, I think it was one of those movies where you brought it up. I just remember him. It's the movie with Rosa Klebb, right?
That's from Russia with Love.
That's from Russia with Love.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I just remember him walking in the door behind them at it was Blowfield sitting at his desk and he's got other people in front of him, right? And dude walks out of a sliding door, does he not?
Maybe I do have it mixed up.
No. You are the Bond guy. I'm just telling you what I remember.
Well, okay, the way I remember it, the dude we're talking about is in Dr. No as one of Dr. No's guards. Now, I could be wrong. I did not research this, so I could be the one off here.
Well, it's probably me because I barely remember. So
we'll check it out. I ain't worried about it one way or another.
I just remembered you bringing him up from a previous podcast, and I was like, that's the guy. That's the guy from the movie.
Well, I like whenever I see Bond alumni in other Bond movies. I like it whenever they're in more than one. I also like it whenever I see them in other series and all that good stuff. But there is a connection to be made from Russia with Love because, of course, we have General Gogol. The guy that plays him was in From Russia with Love.
Who did he play?
He played Morzini, which is the guy that killed Kronstein with the shoe with the knife in it.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, so as I've already stated, book really doesn't translate over into the movie at all. And I want to bring something else up real quick about some of the script ideas for this movie.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I don't want to interrupt you.
Are you good?
He is uncredited, but he was Dr. Noseguard.
Right.
And he was also in, where was it? Casino Royale.
The parody?
Yep.
In the parody, okay.
Temple Guard is what he's credited as. So
All
I still
right.
need to watch that.
that's what was so important.
Yes, definitely important because I misremembered the hell out of that.
So real quick, I want to take just like a minute or two and talk about some of the unmade scripts or the how would I
Unused elements.
unused elements. So originally, from what I've read from several sources, Spectre was supposed to come back in this movie. I mean, you can even look at Stromberg and all of his people in the movie. You know, they're all wearing, the same little red uniforms. You know, it kind of reminds you maybe a little bit of You Only Live Twice.
Oh,
So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The ending is or
Yes.
I guess the climactic battle is very similar.
Well, on another note, this movie is pretty much a remake of that movie.
Yeah.
But I'll get on that in a second. But like some of the unmade ideas that they did, and I got a lot of this information from another video by another Bond YouTube channel called License to Queer, and it's probably one of my favorite channels. But anyway, they were talking about some of the just crazy stuff that was going on that they were trying to do in this movie. One section, okay, you know the helicopter pilot lady?
Yeah.
One script idea was her and is either a seal or a dolphin having sex.
Well,
Like seriously, it's wild. Like
I'm
just straight up
really
crazy stuff that was going on.
glad that did not make it
Thank
into the movie.
God that didn't happen because that just imagine being a little kid and the Bond movie comes on and you're watching it with your daddy and that scene comes on and it's just like, what the hell's going on?
he's like, that's James Bond. He's contacted him.
But but seriously, like there is like a myriad of different little like unused things that they were thinking about, putting into this movie.
Yeah.
But you guys should go and look it up. We could probably spend hours talking about it right now. But so just starting off with our new gun barrel sequence, did everybody notice that is not the same one?
The first thing I noticed was they went back to a widescreen format.
Sure did.
Thank God.
It looks a lot better.
It looks so much better. I didn't realize it. It was Live and Let Die when they went back to the flat aspect ratio, and I was like, yeah, it's different, but whatever. When it goes back to the widescreen format, it is
night and day.
I noticed a huge difference. It looks so much better. So much better.
So what do you think about his second pose in the gun barrel?
So much better.
I don't know. I mean, as goofy as the other one with him holding his arm, I've just always liked it more. This one just looks like to me, it looks like he's a senior citizen and he's having to, I don't know, just the way he holds the gun. I always thought it made him look old.
Yeah, I can see that. What I think what makes me think that is the fact that there's like no recoil.
Yeah, it's just
the gun. It just makes him look stiff.
Yeah,
like he just gets that pose, pulls the trigger, the gun goes off, and there's like no movement whatsoever.
Maybe it was a 22, man. Maybe it just didn't barely have any recoil to it. Like,
I guess it could have been. I had one of those Walther PPK 22s.
I remember.
And that was such a fun gun to shoot.
I bet.
I love that thing.
So what about the pre-title sequence of the movie?
I enjoyed it, along with the theme song.
So we totally get this is, I mean, like we already said, this is just straight up. You only live twice over again.
Yeah.
Like instead of a space shuttle opening up, we get a submarine being swallowed up by the tanker ship, and we then see our boy. Well, no, hold up. No, we see Agent Triple X, who is kind of getting a little bit of an R&R in with a chap, you know,
This movie's trying really hard right here to make you think that this is James Bond.
that it's James Bond.
And
you know what's
then it
weird
tries-
about that? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, and then it tries to make you think that Agent Triple. Okay, it's like, is this James Bond? And then it's like, oh no, it's this. He's that Triple X guy that that they're talking about, and you know,
I fell
there's
for
two
it.
little twists.
I totally fell for it, guys. I was not expecting Triple X to be a woman. Like,
I was expecting it to be Vin Diesel.
I was waiting on him and Ice Cube to bust out.
But yeah, like that guy that plays, you know, the very hairy dude that's in bed with Anya.
Yeah.
He actually was trying to become James Bond.
No kidding.
No kidding.
He,
from what I've read, he was almost one of them. He could have been.
Yeah, I was thinking. I mean, he's got the look, but like, I don't know. Something's missing because I tried to like picture that guy's Bond. I don't know.
Well, you know, we'll never know. I mean, we'd need some more scenes because right now we just get a bed scene with him. You know, I mean, he's got the Sean Connery.
Oh, he's definitely he's definitely got the chest.
You wake up, you got to comb the hair behind your arm.
Dude, I bet Sean Connery sheds. He's so hairy.
Yeah,
he was, man.
So we get Bond up in the Swiss Alps. So what do y'all think about this whole little scene? You know, as a kid, guys, I have to say the scene with the flipping watch with the ticker tape coming out of it. I thought that shit was so cool as a kid.
That's cool now to me.
Dude, I'm a 30-year-old man, and I was like, no way.
I thought that was so cool.
Yep. It is really cool. I want to touch on the submarine scene real quick before we get too far away. I was drawing some Tomorrow Never Dies parallels to it reminded me of the I guess it'd be the post-credit scene of Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yeah,
they're just kind of similar.
Very similar, extremely similar. I agree.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I'll draw that parallel too.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure when they did that scene in Tomorrow Never Dies, they were taking influence from this.
Okay.
So we get Bond with Log Cabin Girl. Of course, she is actually a KGB agent. Now, I have right here, guys. I'm going to go off on a tangent. Okay.
Go ahead.
And just bear with me. This book right here is the novelization of this movie.
Not the novel.
It's not The Spy Who Loved Me by Fleming.
Right.
This is by Christopher Wood. So in the book, it's not KGB that's chasing Bond. It's Smersh, as in the bad guys from the original Fleming novels.
Yeah.
And I mean, it makes the book. I mean, whenever I think about The Spy Who Loved Me, I think about it being like, you know, fantastical and, you know, everything's fine. We're just on this, like, you know, adventure, you know, we're going underwater. In the book, it is a lot darker. And there's some really dark scenes in the book. And it kind of just makes you view The Spy Who Loved Me with a little difference. I would most definitely suggest that you read this book. It is not bad at all. I originally thought that novelizations were probably just going to be, you know, cheap, you know, tie-ins, but it's a pretty good book. But anyway, so of course Bond is skiing into a trap. The biggest thing that stands out for me on this part is what on earth is Bond wearing? Why is he wearing that?
He is wearing a Happy Meal box.
It is a Ronald McDonald ski suit.
Yeah.
Like, it is ridiculous.
I just don't know why he's in that.
Like, none of these guys are dressed for snow. Like,
it's got to be so they get your attention.
Yeah, it's just so
Yes.
It's just so he's separated from the background.
It's just not very cool. Even though
It's not cool at all.
the action, like I swear, there's bell bottoms on that ski suit.
There might be.
Dude, he's got flared pants every scene in this movie, man.
Like I guess I didn't notice it the rest of the movie because he's wearing those dingy brown suits that I absolutely hate.
Oh, really?
Dude, I hate the brown suits.
Oh.
Like that's why I think spoilers. That's why I think at the end of the movie, I love when he's in the naval uniform because he looks like a badass.
Ass.
Like,
Yes.
I got heavy Star Wars vibe from the final act of the film. Just because
the naval uniform on Roger Moore's frame, it does look really cool.
Yes, it was super cool.
So, of course, we see Bond kill Mr. Sergei Barkov. I believe that's his name, the lover of Triple X.
You want to know how stupid I was as a kid?
What
I always, when I watched this scene, I always wondered, why are they zooming in on that guy's face? Like, what's so special about that guy?
You just thought it was.
I realized it the other night when I was watching this movie for this podcast. I was like, oh my gosh. No shit. Like, yeah. I was a really dumb kid.
That's the guy.
Yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy.
But but I have to say this, guys. There's nothing bad I can say about him jumping off jumping off and parachuting. I mean, do y'all know about this scene in real life? They almost messed up because the ski came off and it almost hit his parachute.
You can see it in the final shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, okay. So, from what I read, they offered the stunt man, I think $50,000 to do it initially. It's either 30 or 50, and then if he pulled the stunt off right, which means like don't get killed.
Yeah, don't die.
And don't ruin the shot. Like, you can't jump off the cliff and start flailing your arms. They gave him a bonus, which in 1977 money, let's say it was 50,000. That's pretty good. He come out all right.
Well, I mean, that was a badass scene. He deserved it.
Oh yeah, that's iconic. That scene right there is as iconic as the Golden Girl from.
Yeah, like I read that I think it was Prince Charles saw this in the theater, stood up and clapped whenever this happened. Like he liked it so much.
And apparently it was George Lazenby's idea. Who knows if that's true?
It's our boy GL.
So did George want to do that in his movie? Was it his idea?
Sure he probably would have.
Yeah, could have been. They probably just didn't have the resources to do it, or they would have.
That makes sense. I do think these ski sequences are better in this movie.
Really are. Yeah,
they are. I think the action in general is really well shot. Apparently, Lewis Gilbert just kind of has an eye for that sort of stuff.
Speaking of action, like later on in the film, some of the camera angles and shots during the car chase scene are immaculate for the time period.
Yes, they're so good. I will definitely. I'm gonna gush about the car scene
for sure.
Yeah.
So, have we already talked about how this is part of the monorail trilogy?
Not yet.
That up?
We might have, but I didn't think about it until we got to the monorail. And I was like, oh yeah, this is one of the movies.
This is part 2 of the monorail trilogy. The first one, of course, was You Only Live Twice. Then we've got The Spy Who Loved Me, and spoiler alert, we've got Moonraker next time. All three movies are directed by Lewis Gilbert. They're all pretty much almost about the same thing.
Is Moonraker the next? It is the next movie, right?
Yes, it is. It is literally like a retread of this movie almost. But I mean, it's.
Oh, don't tell me that. No, I still haven't watched it.
Oh, sorry, Colton. Just forget what I said. Just forget what I said.
This is a retread of You Only Live Twice. So
I know it was, but I didn't realize that to the third act of the movie.
Yeah, like last night I was watching this movie and I told my wife, I said, man, because we watched the end of the movie I was like, man, I never realized how much of a You Only Live Twice part two this movie is. Like, it really is. But
I think I like this movie more than You Only Live Twice.
I think I
yeah,
do
I
too.
probably do too.
Yeah.
I think I do
Um,
too. Yeah.
So, what about the Carly Simon song?
Oh,
I'll-
dude. If this is not my number one favorite, it is close. It's so good.
Whenever I work on the weekend at the grocery store,
Mhm.
dude, they play "The Spy Who Loved Me" like
Dude,
all the time on the radio.
I noticed that when I was a kid going into like Walmart and Kroger and stuff, they play that song a lot in grocery stores.
You know, there was one day, this is besides the point, but one day I was working at the grocery store and I heard All Time High, A View to a Kill, and The Spy Who Loved Me all in one day. I was like,
Really?
man, they must have a Bond theme collection up in here. Like,
So does the grocery store that you work at, do they have like their own proprietary
no, I don't think so.
CD? Okay. So it's just tuned to a radio station? Okay.
Tune to some radio station that does not have talking in it. So I don't know.
Well, I'm going to tell you, like, I already have a set favorite, like, theme song out of all these, I think. This came pretty dang close.
I hear you.
Dude,
Like-
it's this one. It's between this one and On Her Majesty's Secret Service as
That is
being my
also
number one
close.
favorite. And I'm torn.
I
This
get
one's
it.
so good. It's so good.
We need to do a Bond song ranking episode when we get done.
We will. Whenever we get done, that'll be one of them that we work on.
And we can't play the songs because we'll get copyrighted, but I'll sing them.
Okay.
That's
Sounds
fine.
good.
You guys do that.
So, of course, we get General Gogol, who tells Anya that her boyfriend died.
Mhm.
By the way, in the novelization, General Gogol is not there. He is replaced by Smersh Colonel Nikitin, I believe is his
Okay.
name. And he is not a cool dude like General Gogol. He is a slimy, like, prick in the book that is
Okay.
trying to get with Anya and trying to kill Bond later on in the book. So,
Oh, hey.
yeah.
That's different.
Yeah, it's very different.
That is different. I want to say something about this set real quick. This is it could just be the way it's lit, but it looks so cool for some reason. I always thought it was a matte painting backdrop,
Yeah.
and then but later you see him standing in what I'm talking about being a matte painting. So it is just it's lit so. I guess just
You are
lit-
talking about Gogol's office, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It is a really interesting set. Like, I was thinking that last night, Caleb. Like, I was like, man, I just want to, like, go there and just, like,
Walk around. Yeah.
just the atmosphere there looks so strange, like.
Did Ken Adams do this movie too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
I think
yeah.
so.
I had big
yeah.
Ken Adams vibes in the third act. So
Man.
Yeah, most definitely.
That's something that goes so unappreciated in these discussions.
Yeah.
Dude, I said something about the sunken ship set last episode. But I don't know. I just feel like he does not get enough recognition. His sets are amazing.
his set in this movie is what brings it like all the way up to the top for me. Because like I'm here for more. Like I like more. He's still not my favorite Bond, but I see him as a Bond now. But the sets in this movie are what really push it over the edge for me, is making this one of my favorite that I've seen so far.
The worst Bond movie. You could hate it, but you are not going to be disappointed by the sets.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I want to stay one more minute on General Gogol. Did anybody hear what his secretary's name is?
No, I didn't. What was her name?
Rubelvich.
Rubelvich?
You know what a ruble is?
No.
It's a type of money. So think about M's secretary. What's her name?
Money. Yeah,
Oh God, that's funny.
that is true.
I mean, like, just to drive the point home that the Soviets aren't as bad as what you expect. They even got their own little money penny. Her name's Rubelvich. I just thought it was cute.
That
But,
is, yeah, I didn't pick up on that.
as we stated before we got on the podcast, we will be seeing General Gogol quite a bit in the coming movies. He will be a regular character. And even though he's the head of the KGB, you never really do feel any, animosity between them.
No.
I think Gogol actually kind of likes James Bond and sometimes, you kind of get that, he doesn't hate him like some other Soviets will in the future. But so what about the new faces we see whenever they're on the boat? We of course we got Bond in uniform the first time since You Only Live Twice. And some of the people that's here, these are some other people that we will see in the future. We have, of course, Frederick Gray, which is the defense minister. Did y'all see him?
So the defense minister his real name is what's his real name again? Is his
Frederick Gray?
Okay, his real name is Frederick Gray in real life.
Oh no, not in real life. No, I'm just giving you the name on the.
What's his name in real life?
I'll look it up real quick.
Let me make sure we're talking about the same guy because
the guy Minister of Defense.
What, Caleb?
It says Minister of Defense.
Yeah. Who's the guy that plays him?
Jeffrey Keane.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's spelled.
You're right.
Okay.
But he will be in like several of these movies. Like several of them.
We're getting introduced to a few recurring characters in this movie. I did not.
I was thinking of Admiral Hargraves,
and that's the guy that I really want you to think about, because guess what? He becomes later on.
M.
He becomes M.
Yeah, he does.
And the first time we ever see him is in this movie. Okay. So we've seen Frederick Gray and Admiral Hargreaves. I want to ask you this, Caleb, and Colton, for that matter. I'm just going to go ahead and ask. When you see Robert Brown's M, do you think of him as Miles Messervy, which is, Bernard Lee's character? Do you think of him as Admiral Hargreaves, which would be him in this movie? Or do you think of him as just a whole distinct new character?
So, spoilers for later films. Whenever I was watching this movie, I was like, "Oh shit, there's M." No, I think of him as M. Like, I think he's my M. Other than later Judi Dench. So
I think I had a question, but I think that answers it. I was gonna ask you if when he does become M, if we're to believe that like it was sort of what's his name? Voldemort. And Spectre.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna ask if it was like the same situation as like this guy, Admiral Hargraves.
Yeah.
Like, does he get promoted to M? Like,
see, nobody really knows that. Honestly, I kind of think so. I kind of think
I wouldn't. I think I would like that better.
Yeah.
As opposed to us just being led to believe that it's just same character.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
If you guys look at it from the other side of the fence, from the way I look at it, like Bond is changing, M's changing, Moneypenny changes. Like I look at it the way I see it, I think he's the same character for me.
Well, yeah. Is he ever? So when he becomes M, is he ever referred to as Miles? Okay. That kind of makes me think.
I mean,
how many times is M referred to as Miles in the movies?
I mean, as far as I remember, the only time we ever get M referred to as Miles in these movies is literally this movie. I'm pretty sure that is it. Now, I could be wrong, because I haven't went through and meticulously, watched these for that.
Yeah.
But I really think this is the only one that he's referred to as Miles.
Could be. Anyway.
But are you doing a check on that, Colton?
Oh no.
I can do it.
I got invited to something, so I had to. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. So We can
I
go
would
ahead.
say-
Go ahead.
I would
What?
say that I like that actor. I was confused for a minute when he came on screen.
Yeah, I like Robert Brown too. I mean, I liked how in No Time to Die they had a portrait of him.
They did. I forgot
did not
about
know
that.
Dude, the Robert Brown nerd in me was going buck wild whenever I saw that. Like,
It's pretty cool.
but
That is yeah, that was a really nice nod.
oh, well, I mean,
like- I
he
like
never
that.
gets any attention, so I did really like that. Like, but so we can go ahead and talk about we meet Strongberg, and he is eating at his extremely long table. And first thing he does is he kills a poor woman.
Just to prove a point.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he goes ahead and kills 2 eggheads on a helicopter.
Why would you waste?
Why would you waste the money on the helicopter?
Why would you blow up the helicopter when you could just?
Dude has a whole army. He could just be like, go kill those dudes.
Yeah, just
Like-
use a bullet.
Yes.
So-
Like,
The way I like headcanoned it was like he was in the middle of transferring the money to their account. And then he told the people that they had died in an accident.
Mhm.
dude,
Whenever
just
you
throw
report
'em-
people
just
dying in an accident,
throw them out the window. Like,
I don't know.
you don't have to blow up a helicopter.
Like it was a cool special effect. It didn't look bad for this movie.
No, I say stuff like that all the time. I don't want y'all to take that as like that's stupid. I don't like. No, it's just like why?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't pick up on sarcasm sometimes.
Well, it's not. I wouldn't call it sarcasm, but it's just like I don't know. I like to question some of those things because sometimes y'all actually have a good reason, and I'm left here like, oh yeah, that makes sense, So
I think I love coming up with stupid reasons for stuff.
I
So
do too.
thank you for the opportunity.
No, but okay, so he blows them up, and then I think we're introduced to Jaws for the first time, aren't we?
Introduced to Jaws, yes. And guys, I'm gonna tell you, I mean, as a little kid, I feel like I'm a broken record because that's what I'm always talking about with me as a kid. But dude, I love Jaws as a little
I do
boy.
too,
I
man.
still
I do too. Richard Keel is just perfect for him.
and I remember watching this as a kid. I was always around someone that like whenever he would go to bite stuff, somebody'd be sitting there like, that could never happen in real life. And I'm like, dude, it's a friggin' James Bond movie.
Yeah.
Just go with it, man. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like, you know what? In this universe, he can cut through friggin' like chain with his teeth. Now, in real life, Richard Keel could only wear those teeth for like 2 minutes because he said they hurt so bad.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Said it was terrible.
I didn't know that.
hmm
But,
I want you guys to know that, like, as far as Bond henchmen go, this guy's probably like,
Oh, he's
I
peak.
like him. Yeah, peak. Like,
the
I like him
only
with
one that I truly think is
Odd
better
Job,
than
maybe.
Jaws is Red Grant. I think
Oh,
Red Grant
Oh, yeah.
I didn't really look
think
as Red.
he's so dark and scary. You know what I mean? Like,
I guess I didn't really look at Red Grant like a henchman.
Yeah,
I'm-
Red Grant's like a villain, like a
Yeah.
straight up,
I look at him like James Bond's equal.
yeah,
like the antithesis
like
of
the
Bond.
dark side of Bond. You know, like,
Yeah.
But
I do want to say that, like, throughout the entirety of this film, like, he is ominous. Like,
Mhm.
stuff happens, he just walks away from it. I'm like, what the
Yeah.
hell is going
Yeah,
on
like,
with this character?
Him
Oh.
being mute really
Yeah.
sells that.
Yeah,
you know, originally Jaws was supposed to die in this movie.
I'm glad he
I'm
did.
glad he didn't.
But it said that whenever they showed this movie to like test audiences,
Yeah.
that kids loved Jaws so much.
Kids loved
Yes.
Jaws. Oh,
Said kids just
okay.
loved him. It said that they made him live so they could bring him back for the next one because he was such a hit with the audiences.
cool. Yeah, I'm glad.
But so what about Bond in Egypt riding the camel?
Dude, I loved it.
Yeah,
Like,
me too.
Me too.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like instead of Lawrence of Arabia, we got a Bond of Arabia. You know,
Sure.
riding his camel, and He walks in and what does he say? He's like, "May the peace of Allah descend on all that is here." He walks in that little tent,
Yeah.
and I do like that
I
scene.
thought that
It's
was-
just so strange,
I thought it showed how. So we get like a sophisticated side of Bond a lot, and we get to see him speak other language and everything. But it was really, really cool to see how cultured he was.
Yeah.
In this movie.
Yeah.
Like it solidified it for me. Like it was a good. I really enjoy all the scenes in Egypt in this movie.
There's a pretty stark contrast, I think, in how this Bond is written versus the Man with the Golden Guns Bond is written.
So much better here, is it not? I mean,
it's so much better, and I'm not just referring to like the his interactions with women, just across the board. Like this is a better written Bond.
Yeah, it's like they got in a like you guys have always said, Bonds usually find their way on their third movie. I think the people working on this movie found their way with this movie.
Yep. Well, the way I see it is they finally figured out how Roger Moore's Bond is going to be, because in The Man with the Golden Gun, they were trying to just make him be Sean Connery, I think. Which in Live and Let Die, I feel like his portrayal was okay. And then I feel like in Golden Gun, it just went downhill. Yeah. But in this one, I think they fully have how Moore's Bond is. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yep.
If he stays like this for a couple movies, like he'll move up a ranking for me.
Well, he stays like this for the rest of his movies. So
here's the thing: he does, but it gets a little more exaggerated.
It gets extremely campy in some parts.
Yeah.
Is this his best movie in y'all's opinion?
Yeah.
Either this one or For Your Eyes Only is my favorite from Moore.
Dang, I always forget about that one. That one's really good too.
Yeah, I'm actually very excited for us to watch that one. But
I'm learning something. I'm learning something about myself. I don't hate Roger Moore.
No,
I don't hate Roger Moore.
He might be up there as one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So we're Bond says that he what is it? When one is in Egypt, one should delve deep into its treasures or something. One of the nastiest lines
something
I've ever heard. Like
it was so smutty.
It really is. Like I was watching it last night. My stepdaughter and her little boyfriend. They're 12. And my wife, we were all watching it, and they said that line, and I was like, God, I hope nobody heard that besides me. And because it's just, I don't know, it's
very Bond.
Yeah, it's just 70s Bond,
Yeah, that's a better way to put it.
It's very Roger Moore to me.
Yes. So he goes and meets with this lady named Felica. And she is right off the bat just ready to just get it on.
She's so horned up for Roger Moore.
And Roger Moore is of course just like, where's Feckish at? Where is Feckish? And okay, so I want to ask you guys, whenever Bond is going in to kiss her, does he purposely turn around so she can catch the bullet? Or is that just a coincidence that he turns around?
My question is, why does she scream no? Because that's what gets his attention in the first place. Like, does she just have a sudden change of heart? Like,
I guess.
He's such a good kisser. I don't want him to die.
I think she knew the basis of the plan, but didn't know how it was going to be executed.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a lot to say there, Colton. I think you're probably right.
That is, yeah.
So, like, whenever she realizes how it's going to happen, and Bond uses her, like, I think that's like Connery-esque for me. I thought it was pretty cold.
Very, yeah. So you do Thunderball vibes.
Yes.
So you think he purposely did it then?
Oh yeah, I think Bond. He already stated his manlyhood about 5 minutes earlier. Like, so he's good.
Yeah, he's good.
He's good for at least another 30 minutes or so.
All right then. And of course we get a little fight with Shandor. Is that his name? Is it Sandor or is it Shandor?
It's Sandor.
It's Sandor.
Mhm.
Thank you for telling me that, so I wouldn't keep on getting it wrong the whole time.
I didn't even notice.
Well, Sean Connery would have called him Shandor. Sorry. I'm gonna leave now.
Stromberg.
But yeah, man, like so anyway, and of course we figure out from this helpful chap that he's at the pyramids, and and so
I love this. I love this.
Great. The location is just perfect.
Yeah, this might be the last instance we get of Roger Moore being a little cold.
Well,
it might be.
For your eyes only, he does.
That's right. That might be the coldest kill.
Yeah.
One of the coldest kills in the whole series.
Dude,
yeah.
he's cold at the end of this movie. It's just nothing comes of it.
Yeah. So anyway, at the pyramids, first thing.
I retract that. I'm sorry, John. Something does come of it later. Just remind me to bring that up. I'm so sorry for interrupting you, John.
You're good. Oh, dude, don't worry about it. I do want to say this. Now, as a kid watching this movie, some things just don't pop out to you because you're a kid and you're enjoying it.
Right.
Now that I've grown up and read some serious espionage novels, I will say this. I think it is so dumb that they're meeting at this stupid Giza presentation in the dark. I think this is, I like it in the movie, but from a real life standpoint, I have no idea why they're deciding to do this and why Triple X would let Fekish get up and run off like that. This is the dumbest scenes.
It's purely for the visuals and for the it kind of reminded me of the Tuska scene from Quantum of Solace. Why are we meeting here?
Yeah.
And talking in these earpieces.
Okay. I get it. I do. I understand.
So my question is, are they actually at a pyramid presentation or is that rear projection?
In some scenes, I'm pretty sure it might be rear projection or like a matte painting. But they were on location.
Yeah, I think they were on location because I think I remember hearing about how bad the food was there.
Yeah, and
Cubby Broccoli getting food poisoning and shit.
Cubby Broccoli had to make spaghetti for everybody. Is that right?
Something like that. There was some story about that.
Is this the first time we've seen Bond in Africa?
Hold up on that one. No, because he went to. Hold up. Let me look something up real quick. I'm pretty sure it's not, but I'm not going to embarrass myself on the podcast with my lack of knowledge.
Okay, so when Fekish runs off, Jaws goes after him, right?
Well, Jaws is waiting by the phone, right? Or is that? No.
You're way ahead.
You went a little bit ahead.
Yeah,
my bad. That's
so Jaws goes after Fekish, right? Or Fekesh, however you pronounce his name. And then he locks himself behind that door, right? And Jaws bites to the chain. That's really cool to me.
One thing I do want to bring up, just because I cannot stop thinking about dude saying it, and y'all probably didn't even think twice about this. Whenever they were out there, and Anya and Bond and Fekish were all sitting down, and the announcer is basically talking about how badass Giza is.
Yeah,
he pronounces it Giza, and I just love hearing that dude say that.
I didn't pick up on that. I didn't notice that.
I didn't either.
I just thought it was funny. Giza.
It is funny.
But anyway, so Bond, of course, handily finds Fekesh's, whatever his name is, his date book, which conveniently has his meeting with Max Calva on there.
I don't mind the convenience. It gets the plot moving, so whatever.
Well, if you think about it, he didn't have a cell phone, so he probably would have had it wrote down in his pocket.
That's true. That is true.
I do want to say this though. So this scene right here, Bond fights two KGB dudes that just kind of throw themselves at him.
That's not Bond. That's a stunt double. Like it's so clearly a stunt double.
Okay, so remember how I said the novelization had Smirsh in it?
Yeah.
In the novelization, they kidnap Bond. It sounds crazy, but they put electrodes on his testicles and shock him.
Oh,
torture him.
Wasn't that was supposed to, or it wasn't supposed to be in the movie, but I think that was like pitched for the script for this movie.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, just imagine Roger Moore doing that scene. like with the eyebrow raised.
Oh God.
Where are you putting those electrodes at?
I don't think Roger could have.
But yeah, in the novelization, it is all there. It's pretty wild. But thankfully, they leave that out for the movie.
Thank God.
So, of course, we do get Bond going to the club, and we also get for the first time a reference to his wife.
Yes.
The first time they've even acknowledged that movie.
Yeah. There's a couple of, this is the first scene, but there's like a couple of like hints of emotion. And like we've been watching this caricature of James Bond for the past couple of movies. It's really nice to see like this a human element. And Roger plays it well. Like the little, you can tell he's playing it in such a way that he's kind of conveying that like, yeah, I do have, some emotions, but I'm trying not to show it. Yeah, if that makes sense. Like he plays that really well.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. And one thing I want to back up and say about the scene. One thing I want to back up and say is whenever they got done fighting, Roger Moore says, "Hope you enjoyed the show."
Yep.
To Anya.
I was thinking, how dare you take credit for that? That wasn't you.
It's just like
it's like a double entendre because they're literally at the pyramid show.
Yeah.
Okay. My bad.
No, that's
pick it up. I'm sorry. I'm not good at it.
No, I mean that's worth pointing out. Like the audience might not have picked up on that, but man, Roger Moore in the fight scenes. I meant to bring this up when he was fighting what's his name? Sorry. Sandor. When he was fighting Sandor, Roger Moore is just so clunky looking in the fights. Like it's a minor gripe. It does not take away from the movie, but he's just so like like it's just so clunky looking.
So I'm gonna say that it does take away from the movie for me.
Okay.
Like the only thing it needs is like word onomatopoeia for me to look like Adam West's Batman fighting. Like,
that's a good comparison. But like when it's like a wide shot and it's a stunt double, it looks fine. But when it's Roger Moore performing the actions, it's just really slow and clunky looking.
Well, that's what's disappointing about it is it's like it's Roger Moore. You want his scenes to look better. They don't.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah, you're right.
Does anybody here remember what Anya ordered at the bar, or what Bond ordered for her?
Bacardi, right?
Bacardi on the rocks.
Yeah.
And I don't know if y'all noticed it or even thought about it, but Anya does the encyclopedia thing that Roger Moore's Bond does. Because she shows up, she's like, James Bond, British Secret Service, license to kill, wife kill.
What's that word, Colton? Dossier?
Yeah.
Look, man.
Obviously read the Bond dossier.
Yeah.
I cannot believe I couldn't think of the word dossier.
She's really laying it on thick that she knows everything about Bond.
So I want to say this before we go any farther in the movie. She may know a lot about Bond. shitty secret agent. She's not that good.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't tell that she was a secret agent other than the fact that, like, okay, so she needs saving in the movie, which is fine because she's the female protagonist. Like,
Right.
that's fine. But, like, whenever some stuff's going down, like, she is really not acting like a secret agent. Like, when she's driving the van, like, you would figure a secret agent knows how to drive anything and everything.
They should.
Yeah, like you would figure. So not to harp on her because she's good looking, but like she's no female James Bond, not to me.
Nah.
So speaking of that, the van scene. After Max Calaba dies, they of course sneak aboard Jaws' van and basically just ride in the back. Of course, Jaws knows they're there the whole time, and Jaws takes them to some old ruins, and it's kind of suspenseful. Some of these scenes, they're walking around, they have no idea where he's at, and
yeah, this movie does suspense really well.
How does he get up there?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, my stepdaughter literally asked me last night, "Is he teleporting like Jason?" That's what she said. I was like, "No, he's just in a." She was like, "Well, how is he getting all over the place?" I'm like, "I don't know. I guess he's just running, girl. I don't know."
Yeah. I want to take this opportunity to mention how well this movie is shot, and it's not entirely to do with the aspect ratio, but the wider aspect ratio does help. But like, I can tell that some actual thought went into framing these shots. Like, it's shot really well. I'm a sucker for good cinematography. I really am. Like, this movie has it.
Yeah.
And it's clear in this scene.
And I must say, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to ask. So you said that Jaws knows that they're in the back of the van. Why doesn't he lock it?
For real, why didn't he like stop and just kill them real quick? And
yeah, that too.
Like, because they're sleeping in the back of his van.
Right.
Like they're asleep.
Maybe Jaws is like, you know what? It's nice to finally have some company on this trip.
Well, I think we're supposed to think at some points that they like to go, cat and mouse back and forth. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
I can see that.
Because both of them get the chance in this movie and Moonraker to literally kill each other, but they don't take that chance,
Kind of like a Batman and Joker relationship.
So you're telling me Jaws likes to play with his food?
Yeah.
So anyway, so they get they have the scene with the van in which the van is pretty much destroyed by Jaws' brute strength. As a kid,
why did he not just yank the door open?
What?
Why didn't he not just yank the door off its hinges? If he could rip the bumper off, rip the side of the van out, if he could.
Well, Colton, if he was doing that, he wouldn't get to pick the whole van up and do all that stuff, like take the panels off and
Apparently, go ahead. Apparently, Barbara Bach really could not drive a stick shift, and really? Roger Moore's lines are ad-libbed.
That makes a lot of sense.
Bullshit. Yeah. Really?
I guess so. I read that. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah. I did not know that. That is awesome.
But I said something in the Live and Let Die episode where I was like, yeah, Roger Moore's really laid back and sometimes too much.
Yes, this is definitely one.
Right here. Yeah. And it occurred to me the other night when I was watching, I was like, hey, I think he's just trying to make a point to her that she's a bad secret agent.
Yeah.
And he's kind of doing this as a way of saying, like, let me handle all this stuff, because right now we could be long gone, but you can't drive a stick shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. See, Caleb, I had no idea that was ad-lib. I thought that was like.
I don't know if it is. I don't know if that is a 100% fact, but
I hope it is.
I do too. Yeah, I really hope, because Roger Moore seems like the type of guy to be really does it play any other tune? That's so Roger Moore.
It was funny.
Yeah, like I think he's way too relaxed right here. It's funny you bring that up because I thought the same thing last night. I was like, he does not act like he is in any danger right here.
No.
Which, I mean, literally, Jaws is on top, ripping the top off of the.
Yes.
I mean,
And he's having fun, seems like.
yeah, just chilling. Like,
he's just sitting there roasting Triple X.
I know it's bad, ain't it?
Like it would have been even funnier if like Jaws rips the top of the van open and Bond looks up and he's like, "Are you seeing this? You seeing this shit?
You seen this shit too, dude? Like, she really can't drive a stick shift."
So, if you guys think about it from her perspective, imagine how frustrating that would be.
Oh, I know. That's what makes it even funnier. That's yeah.
It does.
But anyway, so they find themselves on a Egyptian little sailboat, and Bond, of course, has a microfilm reader in his cigarette case, which we get to.
Super dope. That was so cool.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Microfilm's just one of those like just quintessential Bond things. I remember going to the library whenever I was a kid and seeing the microfilm reader there and thinking that was cool that they had a microfilm reader.
Wait, at the one here?
They used to there. I don't know if they still do. It's probably ancient now, but they did when I was a kid.
That's cool.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, so does anybody in here ever play Metal Gear Solid? Like,
I have not. I've seen.
I don't think so. Yeah, I've seen a lot of gameplay of it.
So it's a very much James Bond influenced game.
Yes.
In one of the games, you get the cigarette gas spray, which Anya has in this movie. You get to use that. The thing that she knocks Bond out with?
Yeah. I thought that was really cool.
I did too.
I actually think that might be a real thing in real life.
That might be the most practical gadget we've seen in one of these movies.
I really do think that might be like actually real.
I could definitely see that being real. Yeah.
If you think about it, it's so smart because like it plays against Bond's ego. Because you already know Bond's gonna light somebody's cigarette anyway. Like she had him down to a T. That's probably the smartest she is for the rest of the movie.
So they go to, of course, M has an office in Egypt.
Why not?
And I love this scene. But I also like when Bond walks in, he talks to Moneypenny.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I really do like how, just the way, Bond walks in and General Gogol's sitting there and, I just think it's pretty cool. I also like the fact that the way that, Anya thinks that she's got one over on Bond. Little does she know, Bond's already checked this microfilm out in this situation. I do kind of like the little back and forth here. What do y'all think about it?
It's missing all of the important information coming to find out.
Missing the meat of it.
Right.
Yeah, didn't he say he was just trying to whet
our appetites is what he said.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much what General Gogol and M are wanting to do is they're wanting to take both Bond and Anya, since they're the best in both the KGB and MI6, and put them together, right? So you have a super team, right, Colton?
Yeah.
All right. So they'll have the super team of the two best agents in both the United Kingdom and the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, and they will save the world from the forces of Stromberg. One thing that I will say this, I really do want to pinpoint a part of this MI6 of the MI6 scene. Now, do you remember when they were looking at the slideshow, boys?
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah.
One part of the slideshow, and this is one of the dumbest parts, and I have no idea what Q means when he says this. Whenever they're looking at the slideshow of the microfilm, Bond says, "What about that part right there? Can you enlarge it?" And he enlarges it, and it's part of a fish, okay? And it says oratory on it. And Q says, looks like a bishop's ladder. Like, what the hell is he even talking about?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember that line, and I was like,
Like, what does that mean?
that's just some like English culture or something that I just don't know, and I didn't really think much of it.
If anybody here is an Englishman or an English woman, we would actually like that more. Anyway, if you are an Englishman or an English woman, please tell me what the hell they are trying to.
I will go. I'm gonna Google it. I'm just gonna go
All right,
ahead.
you Google that. All right.
Did he say
Anyway.
bishop's ladder or bishop's mitre?
Ladder is what I always heard. A bishop's lighter is what I always heard. I don't know what that is, but maybe I'm just a dumb hillbilly from Tennessee. I mean, that's probably what the answer is there. But anyway, so besides the bishop's ladder, we get to see a lot of Q's little inventions here. We also get to hear General Gogol talk about an Anglo-Soviet alliance. So, of course, the Russians are trying to team up with the British in this movie. So, a little bit different than most of the Bond movies.
It is, but I like it. I like the team up.
Me too.
I like that Bond has teamed up with somebody competent.
Yeah.
For once.
And also somebody who's usually the enemy, you know?
Yeah, that's another way of looking at it too.
I always like that he's teaming up with the Russians. You don't see that much, you know what I mean?
No.
So anyway.
I would like to say I absolutely love this QLab scene. Like, there is so much crazy stuff just going on, and you like from the serving tray that chops the mannequin's head off, man, to just wasn't I forget another part, but like they had like not turbans, but headpieces on all type of, like it really gave the whole secret MI6 lair in Egypt, like it was really, really cool. I really enjoyed it. So
that'll bring tears to your eyes.
Yeah, that's what it was. That was I could not remember.
Yeah, man. I really do love the QLab scenes, especially during the Moore era. They're just so like
they go balls to the wall with the gags and the
like I mean, I love them during the Connery years, but my God, with the Moore years, they're just like it's just like a damn Toys R Us, ain't it? Like I mean, just goofy shit from the beginning to the end, like. But none of it's serious. Like
no, but look, this is the one part of a Bond movie where I don't mind gags.
Yeah.
Like you can have all the slide whistles you want in the QLab scenes.
I agree. Agreed. So we flash forward to Bond and Anya on the train, and they are going to what is it? Sardinia? Is that where they're going? And Anya talks about how they are, how she can't speak of a mission. They're, they're both in the intelligence games, and they're both for rival companies. And just so happens, while Bond is trying to get some from Anya, just so happens they have an unwanted guest on the train, which is of course Mr. Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
So Jaws is inside the closet, comes out for a quick bite. And of course, Bond uses the most intriguing of all of his gadgets, a lamp, to stun Jaws. It's pretty cool.
Bond electrocutes a lot of people. Have you guys noticed that? Bond electrocutes a lot of people. I was gonna say that Triple X, Barbara Bach, she kind of fends him off pretty well.
She does an admirable job
for a split second, especially since she was caught off guard.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I mean, for a 90-pound woman versus a 275-pound man, I mean, yeah.
like if you look at it, like Jaws' stature is like knick-knack riding around on Roger Moore's shoulders. Like
Yes.
that's how tall he is.
Yeah.
So like for her to
That's a
even
good way to put it into perspective.
for
No,
holding
really.
her, yeah. So for like her to even hold her own a little bit is surprising. Even though
Yeah.
I kind of talked bad about her earlier. I don't dislike the character. Like I think while she's better than most of the damsels in distress, I don't think she's a great spy.
You know, she was married to Ringo Starr.
Yeah, I did know that.
She was
I
married to
didn't know
Ringo
that.
Starr.
I wish there would have been a scene where Bond was like, "I hate your husband's music.
You just see Bond like, I hate the Beatles. You know,
I
I've
hate the
hated the Beatles since
Beatles."
1964. You know, where I made that wisecrack about wearing earmuffs with the Beatles back in Goldfinger. I've hated them all this time.
Yeah, I hate them even more now.
I really hate them now that you're with me.
Yeah.
That's why I killed your husband.
Oh.
But
I would like to say that did you guys notice how Jaws picked Bond up?
Yeah.
Like grabbed him by the crotch.
yeah,
Bond
Wow.
was immobilized.
Isn't that like twice that he's been picked up, like 2 movies in a row? He's been picked up like that. Didn't the sumo wrestlers pick him up like that? Just
they
like
might
under
have.
the groin and like.
Yeah.
um. Jonathan, did you find a lot of similarities between this train fight and the Live and Let Die train fight?
Yeah, I would say. I would
Yeah.
say I'd probably find more between these two than I would this one and the From Russia with Love train
Oh,
fight. You know what I mean?
yeah. There's a
Yeah.
pretty stark contrast in my opinion. I think there are parts of this fight that feel like they're kind of played for laughs. Like Colton mentioned how Jaws picks him up, but it's
Right.
not like it's not like over the top.
Like whereas in From Russia with Love, it felt like
It's really gritty.
real, like this could actually happen, and you know this would be how you would murder somebody on a train. And From Russia with Love, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
but whereas this one, it's like, okay, well, you know, you got a giant with metal teeth, and you're going to use a lamp to electrocute him
Yep.
as you do. You know what I mean? And there's a hot girl in this room right here waiting for you to make love to her after you get done. That's the way that feels to me. You know what I mean?
What did you have? Did you have something to say, Colton?
Unrelated to that, but still in the same scene, did you guys notice the camera lens reflected in the train window?
I did not.
I didn't, Colton.
That's
Has, like,
usually something
red
that I
light
noticed.
around it.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, good job, man.
Good job, bud.
It was such close quarters. I was expecting to see him like in the mirror or something, but
I'm just going to be honest with you. I was so just like into this movie. It wasn't like The Man with the Golden Gun, which I could obviously
It's
point
so
out where there
blatant.
was,
Yeah.
you know, I was all about this movie when I watched it last night.
well, I was too. Like the movie kind of had me enthralled, but like I was watching it like completely pitch black, and like I guess the camera lens had a red light around. You could see like a red light. It might not have been the lens of the camera. It might have just been a red ring somewhere on the camera, but you could clearly see it in the window pane, like the
Okay.
black window.
I'll tell you something that I did notice. And it might have been a shot, like the camera shooting the shot like it was framed through the mirror, maybe, where Jaws has Bond lifted all the way up against the ceiling of the train. Clearly a dummy.
I didn't notice it was a dummy. I should have paid more attention.
But I'm impressed that you noticed the camera. That's pretty cool.
I have to be honest with y'all. Y'all obviously was paying more attention to this shit than I was. I was just
I'm paying
the
attention.
movie.
I'm paying attention to the wrong shit, is what it is.
Oh no, y'all are doing a good job. I'm the one that was just like watching the movie just for kicks. I mean, I was just enjoying it.
That's something that this movie does do really well that we don't touch on a whole lot is like the immersion aspect. I was immersed, like
Yeah, I was
agree.
too. That's my thing. I was too immersed in it to see any of this shit. Y'all are talking about. Sorry, I keep on cussing, y'all. I don't usually do this.
You got a filthy mouth, man.
I know, filthy mouth.
Clean it up with
Filthy,
Orbit.
What? Oh,
Clean it up with Orbit.
yeah.
Um,
You need to quit cussing, you pointy head.
so anyway, I really do like how General Gogol keeps on talking about an Anglo-Soviet alliance,
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so after the train fight with Anya, of course, I mean with Jaws and Anya, we do get Bond and Anya taking a little bit of R&R together, So
Yes.
so yeah.
Coitus.
A little bit of coitus, you know what I mean? But so anyway, this next part, we get Bond and Anya going to meet Carl Stromberg, and I love the way that like they walk out there, Bond and Anya, and of course they're under alias as Robert Sterling and his wife, and Naomi, that the hot chick, driving the boat. She comes up and she's barely wearing anything at all, and I just love the way Roger Moore's looking at her, and he looks at her, and he looks back at his at Anya.
Yeah.
Like he looks at her like, do you believe this shit's happening? Like, and he just looks like it's just like he's just so weird, like
they're both in on it. Yeah.
what?
She's mean mugging him the whole time too.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. But the whole time he's like flirting big time with this girl right here, like right in front of Anya. Which I mean, you got to see. Bond's like, well, I've already had this one. Now, if I could just have this one too.
Well, we've already established that Bond cannot be faithful, like on a Master Secret Service. He can't even pretend to be faithful.
But anyway, so they go meet Stromberg, and of course, Bond's trying to be a marine biologist here, and Stromberg calls him out. He's like, "What is that fish right there?"
I thought he had him stumped.
And Bond somehow knows what it is.
Somehow pulled another encyclopedic fact out of his ass.
Yes. And but you notice that he saw the girl's arm there?
Yeah.
Like he saw her, like, was it her hand or just
it was her hand? And I was thinking like that makes me like that really illustrates that Stromberg does not care. He's not trying to hide the fact that he's doing some shady shit.
Yeah,
because it was right out there in the open.
Yes. Colton, you got anything to add to that, boy?
So we haven't touched on it, but like I do like the whole Legion of Doom like headquarters.
Yeah,
has going on, like super cool. Like we haven't seen like the inside parts of it yet, but like if you guys have ever watched like the old Super Friends or like Justice League, the animated series or any of that, like they got like an old, looks like Darth Vader's head just in like a swamp, and that's what Stromberg's facility looks like to me. So
yeah,
I like that.
Since we're on that subject, I wanted to point out like how cohesive the effects kind of mesh together, because that reminds me of the scene where they're actually on the boat arriving at Stromberg's villain lair. It's a shot from the boat, and then the camera pans, and that's gotta be a miniature, maybe.
I would think so.
It is.
Yeah, with like a shot of the water, or I guess it would be the villain layer like superimposed in the background, but like the effects just like are so good in this movie. I mean, you could sit there and look at it close enough to be like, yeah, that's a miniature, yeah, that's composited, but it looks great. Like,
honestly, I think they do a really good job with the way they play it off with the miniature.
Yes.
I don't really see too much of, there never was really a part of the movie. There was one part that I kind of thought about it.
Yep. There was one part for me too.
The only part that I'm talking about is when it was blowing up later on in the movie.
Yep.
But for right now, I don't think it shows that it's a miniature.
No,
I know
not
it's
at all. And that's another thing I was going to touch on real quick, and then I'll shut up. But like, if a miniature effect is done right, which in this movie, most of the effects are done brilliantly.
Yeah.
It looks so much better, and it is it's so much more convincing than CGI. It just is.
Yes.
Most of the time,
Yes.
I would rather have practical effects most of the time than CGI. Like 100%.
I don't mind CGI if it's to like spruce up a shot, like if you need to fill up the background with like, I don't know, foliage or buildings or whatever the case may be. That's fine because you'll never notice it.
Yeah.
But when a shot is like 95% CGI, the only thing that's practical are your actors. That's when it's noticeable.
I'm going to say something controversial. Like
Go for
90%
it.
of the backgrounds in the prequels.
Oh, Star Wars prequels?
Yes.
How dare you? How
Man,
dare you say something so controversial?
like I love the prequels, but sometimes some of those back shots ain't 100% great.
Honestly, I think it's Colton loving the prequels that is the most controversial thing here. Honestly, like it.
Whoa. What? You don't love the prequels?
Hey, I love the prequels.
Okay.
I do. Trust me. And I feel like I'm in the I feel like most people don't love. Actually, I feel like most people didn't love the prequels of Star Wars until the sequel trilogy came out, and then I felt like everybody was like, "Yeah, like,
yeah." When the sequel
prequels are
trilogy,
alright.
when the sequel trilogy came out, the audience were finally like, "Oh, it can get worse."
Yeah, it's like I mean, honest to God, boys, I ain't gonna lie to you. I happen to really like episode 1, 2, and 3. I don't mind them at all.
Well, are you talking
I-
about the original, like the movies that come out in the early 2000s, like those?
Yeah,
No, I don't
yeah.
mind them. They're
I like
fine.
fun.
I like the third. Like the third one is my favorite. I think
Now,
that's
that
Yeah,
being said, it might be because I was a little boy too young. I mean I was, what, like freaking 9 whenever the first one came out, or
yeah.
8,
I was
7, something like
yeah.
that.
I
Hold
think we're
up.
all around that age.
Was that 2001? I would
Nine-
be
came out in 1999.
oh God, really?
Yeah.
I
The
was
Phantom
7
Menace came out in
then. Okay.
1999.
I know we got off a tangent there, but I mean I don't really mind the prequel trilogy. The sequels though, I mean I liked part of the Force Awakens, but another part of it just makes me hate everything it represents. But that's more than
I think we need to save this talk for Moonraker, don't we?
Yeah, we'll
We should-
revisit this.
Yeah.
hey Colton, hey
Yeah.
Moonraker, a James Bond story. Like the way they did a Star Wars story with
Yeah.
Solo.
With Solo.
Yeah,
Hey,
it was like a Star Wars.
Dude, I loved Solo.
Was it
Like,
good? I didn't even watch it.
Man, it gets a lot of hate, but it's a lot like the books.
We need to watch it and review it on here. Seriously,
Okay, I'm
I
down.
did not
down.
like it.
I've
I
never
did
seen
not.
Like Ron Howard reshot a lot of that movie, but I think they kept a lot of stuff Phil Miller and Chris Lord did.
As in Opie Taylor, Ron Howard.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, then.
Dude,
All right.
Ron Howard and his daughter have both, like, Ron Howard did a Solo, but his daughter has directed several episodes of The Mandalorian. They're all like top tier episodes of that
Oh,
series.
yeah, she did. Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love her, by the way. Like, she's up there. She was a great Gwen Stacy too. I'll die on that hill.
Oh, dude. I forgot all about that. Yes, she was.
Well,
She really was.
In a few movies, we're gonna get a new Miss Moneypenny, who I'm gonna say is the best Moneypenny we ever had, and I will die on that hill. But
What movie does she come in at?
The Living Daylights.
Oh, yeah.
I do love her. Just
Like she's only there for 2 of them, but that is by far my favorite Moneypenny, bro.
I like the money. I like the actress that's in the Brosnan
No, I
series
like
too.
Samantha Bond too.
yeah, she's good.
But anyway, where was we at, boys? Before we got on the Star Wars, Star Wars.
9/11.
talk?
I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're
9/11,
good.
right?
Oh, I know where we were at. We were talking about Bond meeting Stromberg. So of course, Stromberg thinks, well, Bond is trying to be an alias right now, but that doesn't work out at all.
It never does.
So one thing I love is whenever Bond, he talks to Stromberg, and Stromberg is pretty much like, yeah, I mean, literally, guys, Stromberg is like, I'm crazy and buck wild, and I want the whole world to be the sea. And Bond's like, well, we all have our dreams. And Stromberg's like, no, bro, for real though, I really want the whole world to be under the sea. And Bond's all like, okay.
Jonathan, the way you've just described this
It's perfect.
completely recontextualizes the whole film for me.
Well, that's the way I've always looked at it. Like, because like Stromberg's showing off all these like models and stuff, and he's like, yeah, this is my underwater city, and this is, water, water, water. And Bond's like, well, we all have our dreams. And he's like, not a dream, Mr. Bond, a reality.
He literally says that in the movie.
It's like, okay, dude, like,
Yeah.
calm down a little bit.
Maybe I was focusing too much on the spiked fish or whatever.
I wish that we would have gotten a shot of Bond like turning around and maybe like looking at Jaws and going,
yeah.
and then Jaws is like,
you see Jaws like, dog, he pays me, dude. I'm just an employee.
No, Jaws is like, great dental. That's all he says.
The benefits outweigh anything else.
Yeah.
Okay, so the book I was telling y'all about actually has like Jaws' real first name in it, and it's like this insane Polish name that I have no idea how to say. Like it gives a little bit of backstory on Jaws.
Until you said Polish, I was really hoping his first name was going to be Jeremiah.
Oh, not at all, bro. Not at all. It's not Jeremiah. I'll just be straight with you on that one.
Well, Jeremiah Jaws just sounds really good to me. So.
Jeremiah Jaws. You want Robert Redford to play him too? Sure. Jeremiah Jeremiah Jaws.
Yeah. Let me just nod at you like Jeremiah Jaws.
Hey, it's like you see Jaws like show them metal teeth and just
yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I'm really into the meme culture. All right, I'm gonna dial it back a little bit.
I think most people are.
Yeah, you're appealing to like everybody on the internet. So.
But one thing that I do think is funny is Bond comes back from. I think it's when Bond comes back from meeting Stromberg. Anya is talking to Naomi about the model of the ship. By the way, I really wish I had that model of the La Paris ship. Mm-hmm. But they're talking about the ship, and Naomi's like, yeah, this is the biggest ship in the world. And Anya says, behind the Karl Marx, of course, which was, of course, some like Soviet ship. I was just like, wow, that was a rant. And Bond even says, like, it's amazing what little bits of information you store in your head or something like that. He has a little thing to say there, but
he's pretty much like, would you shut up?
Yeah, would you shut your mouth up? Would you shut your Russian ass up?
Do you want to mention anything about Stromberg's?
That's actually what I've got on my notes right here to bring up.
Okay.
Stromberg, well, for first thing, he has webbed fingers like a fish, and he also.
I thought it was just like right here, like.
They make a little bit. That's why he's not shaking hands.
Yeah, I know that, but like everybody makes such a huge deal out of it. But the only part that was really noticeable to me was just like right here.
Okay.
And I thought it was hilarious that what's the girl's name that was on the
Naomi.
Naomi.
Yes, love of my life.
Sorry.
The woman I'm gonna marry.
She says. Like he doesn't shake hands, and the first thing Bond does,
of course, Bond's like, "I'm gonna shake this dude."
Howdy ho, Ranger Joe.
Yeah, he's a dick. Bond is a dick.
You really cannot excuse that. That really is a dick move. Yes. I don't know. I don't even care that he's a villain. That was a dick move. That was Bond just being an ass.
I mean, this isn't the first instance of Bond making fun of handicap people, if you would consider that a handicap. Because remember what he done to Henderson? He's all the time pointing out people's flaws.
Yeah. Well, okay, but let's give Bond a little bit of credit. Every villain he comes up against got something wrong with him.
That is true.
All right. I mean, Dr. No didn't have hands. Rosa Klebb was a lesbian. Like Emilio Largo had one eye.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
I don't think
got
there's anything wrong
wrong.
with being a. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a lesbian
Oh
personally.
yeah, I didn't want that to. Okay,
I know what you meant. Yeah,
I didn't
know
mean
what
that.
For the
Like that.
time
Quirk.
period.
They all got some distinguishing thing about for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being a lesbian. I have nothing against that. But
I too like women.
me too. Me too. I'm
Yeah,
married to
yeah.
one.
You're taking a little too far there, John.
Now this
But,
is pod racing.
But anyway, like one thing I will say, did y'all notice that Carl Stromberg is eating fish food?
Yeah.
He was what?
Eating fish food.
With Tabasco sauce.
Yes.
Yeah,
the
did y'all
Tabasco
notice the
sauce
Tabasco-
makes a return.
Yes. It's
Tabasco is in it again. Tabasco for the win.
Is there another movie with Tabasco sauce?
I don't think so.
Yes.
I think this might be the last-
Tokyo Drift.
Oh,
No, in the I was gonna say it's also a Tabasco trilogy, but
Oh, I'm sorry, Caleb.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it is in another one. We will see. I will watch extra careful next time to see if I can find a Tabasco bottle.
the only thing that comes to my mind right now is like when Bond opens the refrigerator in Goldfinger. Maybe there's something on the shelf in the refrigerator.
If there is,
If there is, then yeah.
it is a Tabasco trilogy.
Anyway,
But I did find that interesting that Tabasco. You think they paid to have? You think so? Okay.
Yes, I do.
if they had paid, they should have asked to see the front of the bottle.
And,
Yes, no kidding. I
uh,
think in the Man with the Golden Gun, you actually do get to see the label.
Well, in the next movie, Moonraker, we get quite a bit of product placement. In
7-Up.
the next one, it's kind of just like out there, just
Yep.
in your face in the next movie. So I mean, it's if there's Tabasco in that movie, we will see it. Anyway, thanks for bringing up the Tabasco, Caleb. I do appreciate that because I actually made a note to say that, but I forgot about it. So
that was
bringing it-
Colton.
Oh, thank you, Colton, for bringing that up.
You're welcome. Caleb fleshed it out because I didn't know what to say. I just saw it.
But so anyway, this next part, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, might be one of the best car chases ever. Not just in the Bond movie. I happen to love I'm gonna sound like you for a second, Caleb. Some of the cinematography in this next scene, my God, it's beautiful.
Yes.
Bond goes and meets Q, who I don't know if y'all noticed this, but Anya actually
Refers to
says,
him.
he looks at him and says, well, she looks at him and says, hey, Major Boothroyd, letting us know that her ass knows who he is. She's done her homework. She knows who the armorer is.
Mm-hmm.
And they get in the Lotus and they start driving. So you get so many different scenes here, like of that helicopter Naomi is driving.
I have a question about the helicopter.
Go ahead.
So I understand that they use miniatures for the lair, and I believe the submarine scenes, that's like an RC boat or something, right?
Probably. Yeah, it's probably safe to assume.
So
I have no idea.
well, it's what it looks like, but I don't know. The other thing I was going to say is the helicopter in these scenes, either they are a really talented helicopter pilot, or I think it might be like an
Force
RC.
perspective.
Yeah, like a force perspective, like RC helicopter, like larger.
I think they actually did that. Like
If they did, it's really dope.
Yeah, and I think there are two shots in particular where you get to see you get the Lotus in the foreground and the helicopter like comes up next to the
Behind
road like you were talking about. Dude, that shot is so cool. Like the fact that they achieved that shot is, I don't know.
Now, what is it now? What are you talking about?
When the Lotus is being chased by the helicopter, there is it might be right after Bond jukes the helicopter, like does a quick 180. I'm pretty sure when the helicopter catches back up with Bond, I think you get that shot of the Lotus going down the road in the foreground, and then you see the helicopter come up next to the
Yes.
Lotus. Yeah,
Yeah. There
that
is so many good shots with the
that's
helicopter and the Lotus in it.
that is my favorite shot. And then also the part where the Lotus is going down the road with the squibs going off beside it, like the bullet impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
th- it's just so well done.
That's
I
why.
can't say enough about it.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to whenever I said the cinematography. Taylor,
Yeah.
most definitely, all of that. I love it. I think
So-
they did a great job.
Jonathan, what did you think of the scene while they're in the car during the chase, and you have action shots from? At first, I thought it was a camera hanging off the front corner of the car, but then as you look, it pans away from the car, so it makes me think it's somebody else riding in another car videoing. Like,
Yeah.
I know what shot you're referring to. And that might be what it was. I thought it was rear projection. I thought they were in a studio, just to achieve that shot. But it could be like
well,
you're
it
talking
looks
about.
like it's really running down the road.
It could be because I did notice that like even when it is obviously rear projection, it doesn't look bad. So
So, like, were you talking about inside the car rear projection?
yeah, is that not?
No. So, like, if you're looking at say this is the Lotus, right?
Yeah.
There's a scene where the Lotus is parallel to the road this way,
Okay.
and like there's a camera over here cornered. It looks like here's the Lotus, and then here's I can't show you very well.
No,
So,
I kind of yeah.
Well-
if that was probably a like practical shot then.
yeah, like
I just-
think it's like they've got to be riding in another car next to it.
Probably.
Like, you know how like when people like hang out the window with a camera and like video their buddy driving through town? It looks like that, but like better.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what shot you're talking about now. That's what it was. It's either a camera mounted on another vehicle or what you said,
that
a
too.
guy hanging out of another vehicle. But it's probably a camera mounted on another car.
The only reason I thought it might not have been is because the camera pans, like it's like zoomed in on it and then it like pans out really good.
I think even with a mounted camera like that, I think you still have an operator. Like I think you can still.
Okay.
I don't know about 1977, but yeah.
Well, I just know they do like digital car rigs now, where like you got cameras all over the car and everything. It was just like it was an unusually good shot for me. Like,
unusually well executed.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot of that in this movie.
Like this scene took this chase scene from Goldfinger and turned it up to 11 for me.
Yeah.
Like
I didn't even mind that it wasn't an Aston Martin. Like
I don't either. I mean, and guys, at the time of this, Lotus was it was a very popular and kind of the thing at the moment in the 70s. At least with British cars, it was the Lotus. And I'm all for it. I'm all there. I love the Lotus. I don't care how 70s the car looks. I don't care how, the interior looks. Did y'all see the interior of it?
Yeah.
It's
a good looking car. I mean, it's not as iconic as the BB5, obviously.
But it's awesome. I love the Lotus. That's one of my favorites. And I've always loved the submarine feature of it. I cannot knock this at all. I can't knock any of it. Any of the car scenes in this movie. I love it. I love that scene where they go into the water and Bond says, "Can you swim?" And they go right into the water.
That's another shot that stuck out to me real quick is the Lotus driving off the dock with the helicopter following.
Mhm.
The reason I remember that shot so well is because it was in that montage that you and I were talking about one time, the promotional
Yes.
thing, and I remember that shot and thinking it looked so cool as a kid. But my one gripe with this scene is, why does Anya act surprised when when they go off into the water?
She doesn't say that she later says that she stole the blueprints to the car, but it's like, well, girl, if you stole the
Right.
blueprints, why do you not know that it?
Yes. Why does this come as a shock to you?
I mean, surely you would remember. Hey, this is
Yeah.
that car that I stole the blueprints from that went underwater.
Unless she's just so devoted to, keeping Bond in the dark about some stuff.
Yeah, she has to. I didn't even think about the feigned surprise until you said it, because I forgot it happened, and then she admitted it. So
Yeah.
that was a good catch, Caleb.
Well, it's kind of like earlier in the movie where that woman yells, "Noah's Bond is fixing to get shot." Like what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So one thing that I want to bring up here is the guns that Jaws and his henchmen in the car, they're using guns. The guns they use, Jaws, I think, starts out using a revolver. It's a Spanish revolver. I believe it's Spanish. It's called an Astra. Astra is the company. It's a 38 revolver.
Yeah.
Then he takes one gun from his henchman because he runs out of ammo in his gun, so he takes his henchman's gun.
It's a Mauser, isn't it?
It's a copy of a Mauser 96.
Okay.
But it's an Astra copy of it. It's a Spanish copy of it.
Okay.
And I've always been a fan of the Mauser pistol. I just always thought it was really cool.
Yes.
Very spy looking. You see a gun like that, you kind of think of a spy using that gun. So
it's just an interesting looking gun.
It is.
It's just a really interesting design.
So whenever I see one, I automatically kind of
associate it with. Yeah.
But the thing about that, the C96 was made in literally 1896. They're still using this gun. This is 1977. So that's a gun's been on. Well, I mean, it's a copy of the C96. Right. Still, I mean. But I mean, I guess you could say the 1911, we're still using that. That's been around for well over 100 years now. So, I mean, hey.
We're never going to not.
We're never going to not use the 1911, are we?
The 1911 has won 2 world wars. It stays around. It stays around.
That's right.
So, I do love the 1911. Both
so do
I. I do want to say something about his henchman hanging out that door and him grabbing it out of his hand. I
know.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah,
I did too. He's like, "Are you really gonna fire this gun next to my face?" Like,
I don't even think it was that.
With the window down. Well, that's what I thought. I would do the same thing. I'd be like, "Dude, give me that." Like,
I just thought it was like, fine, I'll do it myself. Like,
yeah, that's what.
Yeah, that's what it was. But
I don't know. I'm sorry.
I love the car landing on the house. That's hilarious.
I love that he walks out of the house.
That too.
Tall enough for him.
That is such a good gag. Like, you guys know how I feel about most of these gags. That is hilarious.
That one dude out there that's like, "Mamma Mia," like it's just going
to Jaws, like Colton said, gets out of the car, walks out the house to the front door, and just looks at the guy.
Okay, who has seen Moonraker in this chat?
Not I.
So Colton, you not seen Moonraker?
Oh, I've been watching all of these in order, except for the ones I've already seen.
Well, this is not a spoiler, but there is a scene that is very much this scene again in Moonraker. But it adds something to it.
It's not as good, in my opinion. Everything leading up to it is really cool, but we'll save that for Moonraker.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, that being said, Bond does kill Naomi with his what torpedo that goes up. I
Yeah.
mean, what do we call this? Like,
Sea to air, maybe.
yeah,
Something.
yeah. So a SAM
Anti-aircraft.
missile,
Yeah,
sea to air missile,
something
SAM,
to
right?
that effect. Yeah.
So he
So
kills Naomi, which sucks because she was pretty fine.
dude, I was so disappointed. I was really hoping we would get more with her just because she's the best thing in the movie.
But I mean, I don't know if you guys are members of any Bond Facebook groups, but she is very popular. They post her a lot on Bond Facebook groups, guys. Like,
I'm
not
cool.
not lying. She is all over the place.
They got good taste.
No, most definitely. As Roger Moore says in this movie, such lovely craft. This is such lovely lines, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like such handsome lines, or something. I don't know what he
He was
says.
he was so horned up.
It was something like that. But so they have a little bit of an underwater battle down here. Of course, we get the underwater gadgets like an ink screen. Instead of the smoke screen, there's an ink screen that gets put out. There's some torpedoes. What else comes out? Olympic mine, which blows up a small submarine.
That was super cool.
Yeah, see, this is the part where Anya makes it really evident that she knows all about this car.
Yeah.
She's just happened to forget for 1 second. But all the underwater stuff here is well executed. It's not slow. It's not boring. There's no 007 theme, Colton.
Thank God.
Well,
I was vibing, and I was just like, I know they're not about to have no damn slide whistle.
So guess what? In the next Bond movie, we do get the 007 theme again. He's gone.
He's gone. But no, all the underwater stuff here is awesome.
Yeah.
I'll
be straight with you boys. I think they did it better here.
As good as you can do it. Honestly.
Yeah, like I mean, Thunderball. I think it's a lot better underwater here than Thunderball ever tried to be. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like by far. Like
if you're gonna have underwater stuff, this is the way to do it.
Yes.
Thunderball wishes it could be anywhere near as good as half of the stuff in this movie.
This is just a great movie all around.
Yes.
Everything is just so well done, so well executed. You could argue that it's got a weak villain. I'd give you that, but this is one of those movies that I feel like is not really about the villain.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I understand.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie, it's like I was telling Colton this morning, before we got on the podcast, some of these Roger Moore movies seem like it's like an Indiana Jones movie. It's like a big adventure. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it really does.
I mean, it's not even about the villain. It's just about the whole thing altogether. Like you're going on a journey.
To me, the main focus of the movie is Bond and Anya's team up dynamic.
It's just what they have to go through. You know what I mean?
That just needs the movie is just a vehicle for their team up story. And so, like, I don't know, you could literally put any villain in Stromberg's place and it'd be just as good.
So, I do have a question. I'm going to sound dumb, but I was wondering, is the spy who loved me, is the spy Anya and not James Bond?
I think the spy is supposed to be James Bond.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I think
that would be the obvious thing. So I was looking at it from the other.
It could also be the guy.
It could be Anya though.
It could also be the guy that Anya was.
That James Bond killed.
Yeah, that guy.
It could be him too.
It
could be several people in here. I mean, hell, it could be Log Cabin Girl at the beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah, she's a spy too.
That was the spy who loved James Bond.
Yep.
Could be Maury Povich.
I don't know. It might be a little stretching. You know what? Fine. Bring Maury in. Be all right.
You are not the spy who loved me.
They should have just named the movie "The Spies Who Loved Each Other," like, and just cover all their bases.
It would be less
So-
confusing.
So of
That'd
course
be more
Bond.
confusing.
So after Bond gets done in the water, he comes out in the car on a beach, and we get our first sighting of reoccurring drunk man.
Yep.
So-
he should have stayed here.
Reoccurring drunk man, was that the guy drinking that just
Yes.
like double took? Okay.
And I don't know if that is I don't know if a lot of fans refer to him as that. I kind of stole this from Calvin Dawson. That's what he refers to the guy as. So I just kind of took it away from him. And I'm sure anybody watching this, if they're watching us, they by all means probably know Calvin Dawson. So I don't even feel like I need to sponsor him. Everybody knows him already. So
Well, anybody that's even just like a little bit familiar with the series, you mentioned recurring drunk guy, they're gonna know who you're talking about.
yeah.
But it's that gag was funny once, and it's right here.
I mean, I thought it was funny. So I guess I'm
Yeah.
good to prepare
I
myself.
love Bond rolling the window down and dropping the
Pouring
fish
the
on the
fish
ground.
out.
Where
That
did the
is
fish come from?
hilarious. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't care
That
where
was
it
my
came from.
Like, I don't get where the fish, like, did the fish come through the leak in the
No, that's what-
It came through the AC vent.
Okay.
like I know I always thought the same thing. I was like, why does he have a fish to begin with? Like how?
Because they weren't wet. They weren't wet when they got out
No,
of
they
the car.
weren't. Well, okay. Well, think about this, Colton. All right. So when the car initially goes into the water, the undercarriage is still exposed. So
Oh.
when it eventually closes itself up and seals everything off, maybe a fish got trapped in there.
Who knows?
How did he get it in his hand from the
I
undercarriage?
don't know. I don't know.
I know I should accept what you say and shut up and go on, but I can't.
But I do love. I love the little comic relief moments we get.
Yeah.
Here. I think they're
Yeah,
hilarious.
it's good. It's just
So-
missing one thing.
This next scene is where we pretty much get the kind of like one of the main conflicts in the movie because it all starts with Bond lighting her cigarette for her, and she's like, "Where'd you get that lighter at?" And he's like, "I got it from Burn Garden, in Austria about 3 weeks ago." And she's like, "Well, do you know this guy? He died in Burn Garden about 3 weeks ago." And why in the hell Bond didn't just say, "I have no idea who he is"? No, Bond's like, "Yeah, I killed him. I killed his
And
ass."
I do it again.
I took that as like she's kind of earned Bond's honesty.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, you're right.
And if he hadn't have been honest, then we wouldn't have got this really good moment of
Maybe.
like actual acting.
Yes.
I like this whole scene. Like,
Caleb, I actually agree with you quite a bit here. You're
Yeah.
right. This is one scene where Roger Moore is not raising the eyebrow. He's not trying to get with somebody. He's literally acting here.
well, like Roger Moore can act. Like he's a really good actor. And
Yeah, it's just most of the time we see him, he's
Yeah.
being campy, But like,
they both play this scene really well.
they do.
I
Even
agree with both you guys.
it's well done. Even considering the fact that, which I didn't know this until I did some reading. Barbara Bach is apparently dubbed.
Mhm.
What?
Yeah.
I'm sick of these people.
But no, this is another one of those scenes like I was talking about earlier that kind of you get a peek at Bond's human side, and it's really good.
Agreed. So from basically now to the end of the movie, Bond has to remember, hey, this girl is going to kill you after the after the end of the mission. So they go on to a submarine. Have any of you guys ever been on a submarine before?
I don't think so. Oh, actually, I take that back. Yeah. Actually, not too long ago, I got on this little submersible to go see the Titanic.
Moving right along.
No, I've never been on one.
So what about whenever Bond meets with the captain of the sub, and they're talking about the major, Anya taking a shower, and the captain's like, he's sitting in his room watching her take a shower, and that one guy comes in, And the captain's like, "What's the matter? You never seen a major take a shower before? You know,
Mhm.
like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about, Colton?"
Yep.
Yeah, like it was really, it was not tastefully done, but I still
Not at all.
enjoyed it.
But
Why was he pushing her so hard to take a shower in his quarters?
because the reason why is because they were on a ship full of men.
Okay.
So
That's
did they have communal showers?
Because the way he delivered those lines seemed really genuine. So I was like, okay, he's not trying to get with her.
yeah.
He must have a good reason. So
Well, from what my wife told me, they don't allow women on submarines.
I wouldn't think so.
I mean, and
Yeah.
that is what I've heard. So if anybody listens to this actually does know about this stuff more than I do, no disrespect. It's just that's what I was told, that they don't allow women on submarines for a long time because that will happen. I don't know though. That's what I heard.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Me too. I mean,
They wouldn't allow women, but you could smoke a whole pack of cigarettes.
but so pretty much these submarine scenes all lead up to Bond and his submarine colleagues being captured by Stromberg and his men.
They were bamboozled.
They were most definitely bamboozled.
In a very Thunderball-esque way.
It wasn't as bad as Thunderball.
No, it looked really good.
But yeah, it looked good.
But it's the same concept.
Yeah.
So Bond and his sub colleagues get captured. So they decide to kind of have a revolt. And I really like these scenes where Bond's he runs in there and shoots the guards, and he's like, getting everybody guns and stuff. And I mean, I dig it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, we get to see a little bit of leadership from Bond.
Yes.
It's
Like,
cool.
So
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Caleb. So you get to see the leadership from Bond, like you were saying, and you get to see him rally all the troops and everything. I want to say Bond looks super dope in his uniform.
Yes.
He looks great. Also, what about Stromberg grabbing Triple X and like hopping on the monorail and shooting out the back of the boat?
that turns into a boat.
Yeah, it turns into a boat.
Kind of dumb.
That is sick.
That's the only part
I
of
thought
this
it was
whole
dope.
sequence that I didn't like. But I think this is the part that I was talking about where it's obviously a miniature. When the boat comes out, it's clearly a miniature, but it's only for a split second, and it doesn't look that bad. The only reason I noticed is because I was watching the 4K version, so
On Amazon.
I think it's at this part of the movie where it really does show that this is a remake of You Only Live Twice.
yeah.
Like with the impregnable, area that they have to destroy to get into, like Bond has to get the nuclear bomb or whatever. And
I said Thunderball a while ago.
yeah, I knew what you meant.
I meant You Only Live Twice.
meant Only
I'm
Live
sorry.
Twice.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
My bad. It looks so much better. Like,
oh yeah.
I think the set design here at the end is beautiful.
Yes.
Like, I can't quit gushing over it. It just, whenever Bond is running in, you got the lighting in the floor reflecting off the walls when he's fighting Jaws.
Yep.
I loved it. So, like, it gave me Star Wars vibes. I know you guys talk about how Moonraker is going to give Star Wars vibes later, but I loved it.
Yeah,
before we get to the Jaws scene, because I do definitely have something to say about that, I want to talk about whenever Bond he gets his package that gets sent in, and it's the wet bike, the jet ski. I guess that just wasn't a thing really before this movie, right? Jet skis?
Probably not. Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it.
So he uses that to get to Atlantis, Stromberg's base, and he goes in there. The way that he kills Stromberg, I think there is one other time when we see Roger Moore doing something this like cold, and that is in For Your Eyes Only. I think this scene when he kills Stromberg and the For Your Eyes Only scene, I think that is probably the darkest we ever get Roger Moore. By the way, in the book, Paul Stromberg is not Carl Stromberg, he's Sigmund Stromberg. So a little
I think I like that name better.
yeah. But I do think it's pretty brutal the way that Bond kills Stromberg. I mean, he shoots him in the groin, and
Yeah.
then I think in the chest, and then like what in the head. I mean, he shoots him a few times, doesn't he?
I'm gonna say,
Yeah.
I thought this scene was dope.
I like it.
I've only seen one other like old school looking Bond killing that I thought was this cool, and it's in License to Kill. So I'm not gonna really say much about that one, but like I thought this was really cold, and I'm a fan of this
Yeah.
rock right here.
Yeah, me too. You know what? I think I like this one a lot, but I think my favorite is in Doctor No when the guy comes into the room,
Yep.
and
Professor Dent.
shoots the bed. I love that line that Sean Connery says. It's something like, "That's a Smith and Wesson, and you've had your six."
Okay.
Bang!
That was really cold.
That's so cool to me.
Yeah, I agree.
But I do like how this scene plays out. I like how Bond kills the villain. It's just so matter of fact.
Yes.
It's not over the top. It's just, really
It's just the way I get it is like Bond, I mean, Bond is going above and beyond to kill this dude because you got to remember the only reason Bond's even here is to save Anya. That's it.
Right.
The only reason he come back. Because I mean, Stromberg was going to die anyway because they were going to torpedo this place,
Right.
But Bond went back to get Anya. So the way Bond kills him, it's not, hey, I'm going to take you in. It's literally, I'm going to kill you. You know what I mean? Like, I've come to kill your ass.
Yep. So, like if Bond would handle all his other problems this way,
no shit.
like it would be so much
It'd be so much easier, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll be losing a lot of screen time.
Yeah, I know it would kill the illusion, but like I can't like quit gushing over the fact that he just murked him like that.
Just straight up.
I mean,
I'm a fan.
I mean, that's what I like to think of Bond is, Bond's the dude that will do that. He could kill a dude like that if he needed to. You know what I mean? That's the Bond I like. Hey, he's the dude that'll go in there. What?
Oh, go ahead. Finish
go
your
ahead.
thought. There's another really, really good cold kill coming up in the Brosnan series.
Yeah.
Tomorrow Never Dies. Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yeah.
Is that the one you were thinking of?
Yeah. Dr.
Yeah,
Kaufman.
I don't know which one you guys are talking about.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna go into any more detail, but that is
I can't remember it. It's been a minute since I've seen it, so
yeah.
But
now I'm curious.
But yeah, like I love this scene, and I want to go on and say, after Bond kills Stromberg, of course, he's still got to take care of Jaws. So one thing I got to say, now I know this is a Bond movie, so we're supposed to suspend some disbelief. Guys, if you get picked up literally by your teeth are probably going to rip out of your mouth if they're supporting a 270-pound man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's either 200 or 300 pounds. He's a big dude, all right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, them teeth ain't going to hold up.
Hold on. Man. Now, you could theorize that Jaws is
adamantium.
And his entire skeleton is metal.
He's just metal.
That's why nothing was killing him.
All righty. Okay. But what about the scene where Bond literally shoots him in the teeth? Did y'all see that?
Yeah, that was a little like
that's a little bit too much. I ain't gonna lie to you. That
was a stretch, but
that's one of those things that I think about, and I'm like, did that really happen? Did he really shoot him in the teeth? And he did.
Yeah. I thought the same thing as that scene was coming up. I was like, wait a minute. I know Bond shoots at him here, but no, he doesn't shoot his teeth. Nope, he shot his teeth.
He shot his teeth. Yeah. But of course, we get Jaws literally killing a shark, which, by the way, we haven't talked about that, but you got to remember the movie Jaws had just come out.
Yep.
And I think they were trying to capitalize on the whole water aspect. with this movie.
Yeah, but it's like it's one of those things. It's like how much can that influence the
Yeah.
movie? You know what I mean? Like, okay, you get the villain's goal to build an underwater city. I just, it has to do with the water, but I don't really get like Jaws vibes from
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Now, on the next movie, we will most definitely see some influences from
Yes.
another form of media. But anyway, but we do get Bond and Anya escaping on an escape pod, and of course, Bond is completely forgot about Anya wanting to kill him, and he's like, "Hey, let's drink some Dom Perignon 52," and then Anya's like, I got the gun, Commander. Like,
Yep.
it's the mission's over. But Bond seduces his way out of dying.
I I think Bond just assumed that like she would see that he went out of his way to save her, so she would change her mind.
That's what I think too.
And I think she did. I don't think she meant like I don't think she was actually going to shoot him. At least that's what I like to believe. Well, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I feel the same way as you, Caleb.
Okay.
I think her feelings for him had already been there.
Yeah.
And plus he was honest with her.
Mm.
Plus he just saved her life when he didn't have to. Because like they were literally blowing it to bits with James in it with her. Like she had to have known how much he sacrificed just to rescue her.
I mean, surely, yeah, that's the way I look at it too. I mean, she saw him literally come back and face Stromberg, face Jaws, and face getting blown up just to get her.
And almost drowned.
Yes, I mean, there's a ton of stuff that he did just to get her. So I think that's probably what did it. She knew, hey, this guy, he's sacrificed quite a bit to get me, So.
Well, I think when she said that she was going to kill him, it was just like kind of out of anger because Bond made a good point in that scene. He's like, "Look, in our line of work, people get
it's
killed.
Gonna happen."
So when she does grab his Walther and point it at Bond, I always took that as like just her kind of joking.
Yeah.
So, which, if there are any kids listening, don't point a gun at somebody.
No, don't do that
in a joking way. It's never a joke. I mean, we're very serious about gun safety here.
Oh, most definitely. But anyway, like whatever sensuality and seriousness that would be is quickly ruined with M, General Gogol, Q, and Frederick Gray watching Bond and Anya come up.
Yeah.
And of course, we get the scene where M is like 007 and General Gogol's like XXX, and Bond's like, just keeping the British end up, sir, And then we get the freaking barbershop quartet singing Nobody Does It Better. Just such a strange ending. Like
I can forgive all that stuff just because the movie is so good.
Yeah,
but that's
too.
not to say that it's not really bad. It's a complete tonal shift, in my opinion. It just doesn't really fit. So
yeah,
that's my thoughts on it.
If it drug on any longer than it did, I'd probably complain about it. But like, I'm just so used to him making these bad jokes.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. How did were they near this whole thing like going down, or did they just like was this happenstance that they floated to the
you gotta think with an explosion that big, it's gonna create ripples in the water and send their flotation device towards wherever they gotta go. Plus they're rolling up on them.
So it's happenstance.
Yeah.
No.
I was watching it and I was like, man, I don't know if I'd want to get on that escape pod, like, because you don't know if, like, because the whole place was blowing up. You don't know if whatever machinery controls the escape pod is even going to work.
Right.
I mean, just imagine being trapped in that little thing, and that's it. Like you're done. Like,
Well, you got that, and what if you do get in this escape pod and you do get in the water? You're floating in the water, and then the structure falls on the escape pod.
yes.
And
Like,
you got to worry about
in it
debris
underwater.
and all kinds of shit.
but that being said, I really enjoyed this movie, guys. I did. Honestly, like I think this. I mean, I've always liked this one. I think this made me reevaluate a little bit. I've always said that Live and Let Die and For Your Eyes Only are my favorite Roger Moore movies. I would probably put this one. I'd probably put this one over both of them.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I
And I
think
hate to say it because For Your Eyes Only is such a big movie for me, but I mean, this movie is it's that good, guys. I ain't gonna lie to you. I love it. Like,
this is the most James Bond we will ever see Roger Moore, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's good.
Like, besides the fight scenes, but he just this movie is so like it's just so James Bond, kind of in the same way that Goldfinger was.
Yes, this is by far his Goldfinger. This is it.
And I had the
Roger
same.
Moore was the most badass. Like,
I had a similar thought to you though. Like, in reference to like Live and Let Die, for the longest time, that was my favorite Roger Moore movie.
Yeah.
But I guess probably just like seeing them so close together, and being able to compare the two that way, this is a better movie, like across the board. Like I have like very, very, very minor gripes with this movie, and even those, like, you know, it's just like nitpicky stuff. This is a lot like a 10 out of 10 for me.
you know, it's a good thing whenever you have trouble figuring out what is the best one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's definitely a good thing.
I completely agree with everything both y'all just said, and like I'm new to Moore, and so I'm already having a hard time gauging his movies together anyway. But I'm gonna say, so far, Live and Let Die was my favorite Moore movie, and it's probably just because of Jane Seymour. I love her.
Yeah, okay.
I love her in that. But if this one is not exactly even with it, it's better. Like at least for the checking all the Bond boxes for me.
Right.
Because you have him doing Bond shit. You have him in the naval uniform. You have the locales. You have the awesome car. You have Bond women. You have submarines. You have M going where he's at. You get a Q scene. Like, you get not one.
Got it all, don't it?
Yeah, like literally. Like, you get not one, but two cool vehicle chase scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to say it's superb, just in execution.
Yeah, I agree.
I think I said something similar in the Goldfinger episode, about that movie having like the perfect amount of each ingredient. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's same can be said for this movie. And I think I might get, I hate for saying this, but I think this movie's better than Goldfinger.
This is by far the 70s Goldfinger. This is Roger Moore's Goldfinger by far. It is right up there with it. I don't know which one I like more. I don't know what I would have to do to pick between these
I think
two.
I would just have to watch both of those movies back to back. Maybe it's recency bias for me, but as it stands right now, I think this is a better movie than Goldfinger.
All right,
I think I think the only thing lacking from this film is him doing like deductive spy reasoning more in this movie. Like, he does some spy stuff, but I don't think it's on the same spy level as Goldfinger spy stuff.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
I think it's missing in that sense. Like, it's more of an action movie.
Do you guys, we skipped over one part, when they launched the warheads at each other.
That was really cool.
Yeah, that was that was one of those scenes where they did the suspense really well.
Yes, they
I
did.
think.
And
And I like this movie. Like really, it does team up stuff really well. Like, of course, you got the sub crew working together and battling it out on the carrier, and all that's good. Like the part where, like I mentioned, where they launch the nukes at each other, that part's really good. I don't know. It's just it was a nice way to sort of like have a breather after the big climactic battle.
I agree. You make a lot of good points there, Caleb.
I wanted to say something about it because we like completely skipped over
Forgot
it.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was important, and we just
Yeah. I did think of a way to improve that scene. Maybe like to add more suspense. So when the subs are getting the instructions, when like I don't know, it's like they're getting faxed over, I guess. Um, we actually see the sub commanders, if you want to call them that, like get the instructions and then tell the crew to. I wish they had just shown one of the crew members getting the instructions and then cut away. Like, don't tell the audience that like the plan has worked. Just like wait till they're looking at the map and then you see it would have like just been more suspenseful to like see the nukes cross paths and then go toward the submarines. But I mean, it's the scene is good as it is. I thought I would give you guys my version. So.
Caleb, I like when you do that. Like if you can do that for every Bond movie, I'm gonna be happy.
Okay.
I enjoy when you give us your take on it. So
most definitely.
I really enjoyed your alternate Man with a Golden Gun ending with J.W. Pepper in the bikini.
I like that one too. I kind of got a little bit excited about that, honestly.
now calm down, boys. He's the only thing missing from this movie. That's the one Bond check mark that was not checked.
I think it's okay that he's not in this one.
I think it's okay too.
That actor should have came back and played Stromberg.
The return of Clifton James. It would not
be out of the ordinary for this series to have an ally character come back and play a villain.
I could just see him with a cigar in his webbed fingers. He's like, "We're gonna make some fish sticks, boys." Okay, I'm sorry, guys.
No, it was good.
My imitation is nowhere near as good as yours.
So one thing I do want to say is, I mean, you know that I've talked all sorts of stuff about the novelization, and I encourage both of you and whoever listens to this, if you like the movie The Spy Who Loved Me, go buy this. I probably spent $2 on this whenever I bought it. I don't know how much it is now. It's been a hell of a long time. But whenever I bought it, it was like a few bucks. Buy this, read it, okay? Actually, I'm pretty sure that on YouTube somewhere, there is the audiobook of that if you wanted to read it. It is good. It is not just the story over again. It adds quite a bit of stuff to it. You need to read it. Whoever listened to this.
This isn't the first time I've heard that. Like, I've heard a lot of good things about the novelization. So.
I promise it's not bad at all. It's good.
Oh, hey, speaking of books, I'll be right back. Y'all talk about whatever.
Okay.
But I meant to have this in here already. Sorry, but it won't take long.
Okay.
So Jonathan,
go ahead.
I did order that the Bond Files book earlier.
I saw your message. I'm glad you ordered it.
I forgot I messaged you.
And you know what? While he's on that, I do want to go ahead. I want to plug that book. So this book is very old. I think it come out in 2002. But anybody watching this, if you like Bond as much as me and Colton and Caleb do, you need to buy this book. It's called The Bond Files. It's by Andy Lane and Paul Simpson. And it literally goes over all of the novels, all of the movies, all of the comics, all of the James Bond Jr. episodes. I mean, it goes over everything. This is what you need if you're a Bond fan like your boys are up in here. You need this book because it covers it all up until Die Another Day. Now, after Die Another Day, doesn't have anything, but it's a good book. You need it.
Yes.
But one thing that I want to say to y'all, I want to talk about the legacy of this movie. So, The Spy Who Loved Me, I think it's went down in history as one of the most famous Bond movies. I think it's got quite a bit of things that get brought back up just in the fandom. I mean, it's got the submarine car, it's got the water, base. It's got a bunch of stuff that I think people really do dig. There has been 2 video games that are based on The Spy Who Loved Me. One for the Commodore 64. I actually have that, and I have no idea why I did not bring it out here.
No way.
I do have that, and they're also making another game, which is an N64 version of the movie The Spy Who Loved Me. Kind of like remember whenever I showed y'all the Goldfinger?
I've played that one.
You played what?
I've played the Goldfinger.
Okay. Good.
That's built on the GoldenEye engine.
Yeah. Well, they made a Spy Who Loved Me one too, which is I think it's still in development. But they're literally, if you type it into YouTube, you can watch people play it.
Yeah.
And it looks badass, boys.
The Goldfinger one was like surprisingly good.
Dude, the Goldfinger one was awesome. I've got it like on cartridge. It's awesome.
Yeah.
As I said, this is part 2 of the Monorail trilogy. It has one more to go. And this is also the first movie that was done without Harry Saltzman. So this was really a kind of like a do it or it might not be done again moment for Cubby Broccoli and Eon Productions. He had to make sure that, hey, Bond was going to survive, and he did. So everybody thank God for old Cubby Broccoli because he made it possible.
There has been a few times in this series where it did not look good for the series.
Yeah.
Like it's been very good at bouncing back. And that's something interesting because you might not consider The Man with the Golden Gun rock bottom, but it's a low point.
Yep.
And it always bounces back with a really, really good movie. I don't know. That's just interesting to me.
I agree.
And also there was a 3-year gap between The Man with the Golden Gun and this movie, which I think probably served it well. I think it benefited the movie having that much time to really work on. We've already mentioned the effects, which are great. The effects are amazing.
That was the longest time that they had went.
Yeah.
Between movies.
Mm-hmm. Oh, since we always have like a show and tell portion of the show, so and I didn't have any cars to show this time, and I think Jonathan's gone to get a prop or some kind of thing to show, but I was going to show you guys. It's not really relevant to this movie, but I got my book finally.
That's great.
Yep.
I'm glad you got that, dude.
I am too. It took forever to get here, but
is it hardcover?
No, it's kind of like it's got a thick cover, but it's not. Yeah.
Oh, like it's still got a dust jacket over a paperback.
It would definitely be considered a paperback, but
it looks really good.
Yeah. This is my show and tell item for this episode.
I have a book I'd like to show you, Caleb.
This thing's thick, man. I didn't realize it was so thick.
Oh yeah.
I got this past week from a friend of mine, Brad Bain. He cuts my hair. shaves my head anyway.
Cool.
But this is James Bond Legacy. It is
Nice.
absolutely huge, and he gave it to me. So
That is awesome. It looks brand new.
yeah, it's been really well taken care of, and
Yeah.
I don't know much about it. It's got a quote from Pierce Brosnan and Famke Janssen on the back of it, and Jonathan could probably tell you this whole book front to back. So
Do you have the same book, Jonathan? Okay. I thought I remember you showing it at some point. Maybe not on the show, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a good book for real. I bought mine at McKay's in Nashville for like 50 cents. So I looked up and got it really cheap. Colton, did he give it to you for free?
yeah, he gave it to me.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Like,
That's
for
really
real.
cool.
He's a really good friend.
Yeah.
He's given me a lot of Bond books.
I'll mention the two items that Jonathan gave to me back there in front of my Sean Connery portrait. One is the rules for a James Bond D&D game, which is fucking awesome. And that comic, what's the name of it? Permission to Die. I don't want to open it because I don't want it to get anything on it.
Oh, by all means, open it if you want to.
I knew you were gonna say that, but like I want to preserve it. So I don't know. One day I might. But anyway, those are some more show and tell items from Jonathan. I really appreciate that, dude. Like that is
anytime, man. Anytime
awesome.
I've got more than one of a Bond item, I will throw it down to you or Colton. I promise.
Thanks.
He be spreading the love, man. He's giving
Yeah.
me, I don't know how many things he's given me through the years, from video games to Jonathan. He'd be sharing.
Yeah,
Jonathan be sharing, bro. Jonathan
sharing.
straight up just be sharing shit.
But, well, do y'all have anything else to add to Spy Who Loved Me?
Yeah, I think if you got preconceived notions about Roger Moore and you don't know if he's the right James Bond for you, I'd say give him at least
shot.
3 shots. Like,
Yeah.
give him at least 3 shots. Watch his first 3, and I think you'll enjoy him for sure.
I think you'll find something to enjoy in one of them.
I've already said it, but I'll say it again. I'm learning a lot about myself watching these Roger Moore movies.
Just the James Bond movies in general.
Sure, yeah. But man, I used to have such a negative, preconceived notion, I guess, toward Roger Moore, and I think I even I was gonna say I sold you really short, Colton.
You guys did not have me looking forward to Roger Moore.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't mind Roger Moore's Bonds at all.
I know you loved him, John, but Caleb had me worried.
Yeah, I was wrong. I guess I just hated Roger Moore as a kid.
I probably would have not liked him as a kid either, because he does not look like James Bond to me.
Well, I honestly think that a lot of the maybe negativity that people have is because for the past, several years, ever since the Craig era has happened, a lot of people have been like, well, those Roger Moore movies are just all goofy. I think that's what that's the kind of sentiment.
I think that has a lot to do with it.
And I think now that the Craig era is over, I think people are going to be like, hey, man, we can go back to having fun with a Bond movie,
Nope, not that.
I don't think that's coming back.
No, I mean, I'm okay with like a lighter tone, but they kind of tried to do that in Spectre. Like they were really they were kind of walking a tightrope between like gritty Casino Royale type of field and I wouldn't say Roger Moore. I wouldn't say they were trying to have like a Roger Moore feel, but they were definitely trying to incorporate some fun into it, and it was just really inconsistent. Like that's one of my major gripes with that movie is like you kind of have to pick a tone and stick with it.
Yeah.
For it to feel, for it to be good, and they just, I don't know, it was just tonally, it was all over the place. So
I agree with you. But that I have a lot to say about that movie actually. And spoiler alert, I am a fan of Spectre more than most people are. But that will be a conversation for another day.
yeah, I didn't mean to completely shift gears that way, but
Oh no, you're good.
But I think it is worth mentioning that, like, I do appreciate when they try to lighten the tone up a little bit. Like,
Yes.
I don't mind that, but like, just don't ever go back to full-fledged Roger Moore territory. Like, we've had it. It was fine. Let's, So
I got you.
It's a building block that should be appreciated, not recreated.
Sure. Yep, that's a good way to put it.
All right. Has anybody got anything else to add before we sign off?
Caleb, have you tried the James Bond Apple game yet?
Have you?
No, I have not.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna play it today. I'm gonna download it right now.
I'm gonna download it on this computer we're talking on, and then not play it until next week.
Well, I actually have beat it. Matter of fact.
Are they doing any DLC for it?
Yeah, they're supposed to add more stuff to it.
Cool.
Can I just type in James Bond on the?
I'm sure that'll probably bring it up.
Okay.
Well, thank you guys for joining me today, fellas. I appreciate it.
I want to say this. If you go on, I think it's Amazon, you will see the 007 Road to a Million game show is out now. So if you want to see a reality show that has the James Bond name on it, it's out. Enjoy.
What?
I'm not lying. There's a game show out. Seriously.
Yeah, I've seen it on YouTube. I
haven't watched it yet, but it's out.
I'm out. This fandom is just too much for me. I'm gone. No, that's cool, man. Anything to bring in people to the franchise.
Well, I will let you know how I feel about it next podcast. I will watch the first episode, okay?
Okay.
Out of all the fandoms for like all these franchises, I think the Bond fandom is like the least abrasive.
It's not toxic.
Not toxic at all compared to some of the other ones I've seen.
Yeah, like everybody seems to get along pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. Everybody seems pretty cool, pretty nice. Mm-hmm. It's definitely not like Star Wars or
Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine too, as long as you don't mention the slide whistle,
Well, all right, y'all. It's been cool and it's been fun.
Adios.
But it ain't been cool fun.
Until next time, I will see you next week with Moonraker.
All right. If you insist.
Thank you for joining us today on episode 10, The Spy Who Loved Me. Please like, share, and subscribe.